We had Ron Artest on maybe a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago. Meta World Peace, if you will. That got a lot of run over streaming and podcasting. The Edgerrin James may be even more. Edgerrin James is right up there when we do conversations with Jim Irsay. I mean, it is right up there with it. But he was fun. And you know what is great about that conversation is that it's different. Like when I have Manning on, Manning is awesome because all you have to do is basically say, joining us now is Peyton Manning, former Colts quarterback, and then he takes off, and you go about 25 minutes and you're all good. But Edgerrin's a little bit different because Edgerrin really, I mean, he likes to talk about his time here and how much you meant to him, which in turn makes you feel really good. But all in all, he kind of wants to talk about what's going on and what he's doing and being out, and I think that's great. Absolutely think it's great. But if you've missed it and you haven't caught it, and I know a lot of you have, 1075thefan.com for the podcast, and you can listen to the conversation with Edgerrin James that took place a couple of days ago. I do want to give a shout-out to everybody up at Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson. That was an outstanding time yesterday. Shout-out to Crystal. My man Rick Moore was up there. John in the Caesar Sportsbook at Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson. It was an outstanding time up there yesterday, as it always is, and people come out in and around the Madison County area, and as always, I am fully appreciative of that. But no, we're going to do it again, and I was talking to some folks afterwards. The wheels were kind of in motion for this prior to, but they're starting to talk about doing the JMV Takeover live again. Now, I don't know if we're going to get totally live, but I'm thinking about maybe doing a JMV Takeover that I come up there and me and Skids like roll stuff directly to you. It's kind of what we're thinking about a little bit here. But that was on the table a year ago. And then, you know, once we got thrust into the middle of the pandemic, obviously, we backed away from that. They backed away from that. I mean, everybody was backing away from everything. And hopefully we don't have to hit that spot again at some point. But everybody was backing away from everything. But now the wheels are back in motion. And I'd be down with that program. Thoroughly. So we shall see where that goes. But it was a fantastic time seeing everybody up there. And just being a part of it, being out, which will be coming up tomorrow, too. Tomorrow, you're going to have your chance to win some stuff. In fact, it is a Brickyard prize package, and this is going to be a completely different Brickyard weekend. This is going to be a blast. But you got that opportunity to win tickets coming up tomorrow. We're going to be at O'Reilly's Irish Pub over in Speedway. I've been to the one downtown. I love going to the one downtown. I've not been to the location in Speedway. So let's think about this for a moment. If you're over on the west side over in Speedway and you're looking for a reason to get out of work early, or let's just say you're still working from home, you're looking for a reason to just kick work to the curb early, this is it. Give you a chance to win, hang out, throw back some drinks, which is always good at O'Reilly's Irish Pub. That is coming up in Speedway tomorrow afternoon, and your chance to win, which is always good. I mean, it is always good when you guys win something. And that opportunity is coming up tomorrow. So we shall have some fun with that. O'Reilly's Irish Pub, that is coming up tomorrow over in Speedway. So join us there. Kind of weird, too. You got the start of the NFL season, I guess officially tonight, right? As you mentioned. But you got no Colts practice. Colts have the day off. Back at it coming up tomorrow. So I guess we don't really halt, but I guess we do at least downshift a little bit on the Colts conversation and, you know, what you think is going to happen. I mean, everybody's going to have an opinion on it, and that's great. I mean, the pessimistic viewpoint will check in and say, hey, we've been down this path before, therefore there's no way that these situations are going to go any better than what we have seen prior. And, you know, that point is kind of met. I think it was Jeff or somebody sent us a quote from Bart Scott, whatever the hell this means, talking about this situation and not rushing back Carson Wentz. I guarantee you one thing. They're not going to rush anybody back. What is going to really matter is what takes place up until they get their guys back. That's what's going to matter. Like, the last thing I'm worried about is, hey, hurry up and get back. They're not going to rush anybody back. Now, I can honestly see, and maybe because we don't know Wentz very well, but I can see Nelson, just like you can see Nelson, man, hustling through this and getting back as quickly as possible. But I don't think the Colts themselves are going to rush anybody back. Now, listen, they may be losing it over there right now, and maybe they felt better yesterday by virtue of what they saw from Jacob Eason, in practice, especially compared to what was described to us the day before. That said, they may be going crazy over there thinking, all right, so what are we going to do if this entire thing goes haywire? But we absolutely don't want to panic. Kind of like I've talked about before, the Kevin Bacon and Animal House, remain calm, all is well. I mean, a little bit you have to wonder. Because, I mean, you're human. You're just like us. You're human. You've been through it, and certainly you're more well-versed, you're more knowledgeable, you're more educated in it. Now, we're just all guessing. But still, you've been through it, just like us. What was it Frank Reich when asked? I mean, he didn't say unbelievable. It was something like that. Unbelievable, you got to be kidding me. These guys take it the same way. I mean, these guys know how many quarterbacks they've been through. These guys know how many ridiculous injury situations that have happened since Chris Ballard has taken over. And nobody's saying, well, this is all Chris Ballard's fault. But it has been uncanny, the lack of good fortune. And I'll say this, this whole good fortune thing is nothing new. This whole good fortune thing comes, and maybe as I jest and I kind of half-assedly believe in it, but as I suggest, maybe this weekend, Manning going into the Hall of Fame, doing his Hall of Fame speech, maybe that somehow, some way squashes the curse. Because that's where it goes back to. The cutting of a legend is what it goes back to. I mean, you can say what you want. They did win. They had big games. During the Pagano and the Grigson era, they go to the AFC title game. But what I always bring up is it was always accompanied by crap. I mean, there's nothing clean about it. There were some great moments, some surprise moments, but there was also some crappy moments. I mean, for every Kansas City comeback game, you got the Lions at home or that New Orleans game at home. So every great moment, you got another injury. You got an AFC title game, and then you got Deflategate afterwards. Had to deal with that. And what happened to the Colts? I mean, the Colts basically went a different direction. What happened to the Patriots? Yeah, their direction was to win more Super Bowls. So maybe that's true. Maybe I should believe a little bit more in that. Maybe that finally cuts that cord. What is funny, too, and I hear a lot of this, and I'm not, because I probably will pay a little bit of attention. Like Edgerrin told us the other day, they have dialed down the amount of time you're allowed to use. And I think Edgerrin's quote was, that works in my benefit. Because Edgerrin doesn't want to say a lot. Manning, on the other hand, probably will want to say a lot. And you might laugh at this, but there will be many around here. Many around here that will be timing to see how much love is given. We're going to measure the love a little bit. Oh, come on, you can tell me. I mean, you're a big-time Manning fan. How much are you going to measure the love? How much thought was put into the Colts part compared to the Broncos part? It's funny. People will say, Manning's not going to think about that. Manning absolutely will think about that. Manning thinks about everything. That's why he's Manning. He covers everything. I mean, everything is covered. Everything has an answer or a solution. There are no questions. There are no unknowns. That is what, that should be in the dictionary, undermanning. You're manning this thing today, right? You're manning it. That means you've got everything taken care of. So you know that that's going to be a focus. And I know for some Colts fans out there, you're going to watch and you're going to, how should I put this, analyze a little bit. May sound weird. But you will. How many times have you found yourself, and yeah, I mean you out there, that wondered why in a social situation, a made-for-television situation, that there was an orange tie? How many times you point that out? How many times you point out how much you hate the split jerseys are lame anyway, but how many times have you pointed that out? Make no mistake, you will be watching for that coming up this weekend. That will be documented. That will be sent to me at JMV1070 on Twitter, at JMV at 1070thefan.com via the email address, and I'm sure we will go over this in full detail coming up on Monday. I mean, yeah, everything is taken care of. That's like Manning. And that's what makes him Manning. I mean, going that extra mile, taking every snap in practice. Making sure you are fully prepared. I mean, how many of us leave the house every day and you go, oh, damn it, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. Every day. I wonder if there was a day when he's ever forgotten to do anything. I mean, everything is good, and you're not having to think on your way to work, okay, wait a minute. If you're watching on YouTube Live, because I'm standing up because we got hot chairs working right now, I'm giving you a little acting here, right? I mean, driving, oh, man, what did I forget? It's always something. Like, it plays with our mind a little bit. Like, we're on our way to work, and because you're thinking you forgot something, you know damn straight you did. There's a reason why that's on your mind, because you did. You weren't manned enough or prepared enough. That should be as entertaining. I'm expecting this as entertaining as any speech. And believe me, I am not one to sit around and watch speeches. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I guess maybe you do if you feel as if you're going to get a mention in it. Think you'll mention anybody locally outside of anybody connected with the Colts team? Nobody? I mean, not even for a joke? Because this is like a nationwide audience, right? This is not, if it were here, I can't remember, but when they dedicated the statue in front of Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm assuming he probably dropped some names right then. You wouldn't drop names on that stage.
And with him only having 6 minutes, you got to go.
That's not nearly enough for him.
Yeah.
And I think Edgerrin would give him like 4 of his. Actually, I think if there were a time where they did give out more minutes, that would be one. That would be worth it. That is coming up for you this weekend. We can discuss that if you like at 239-1070. Email address is JMV at 1070thefan.com. Shows Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. And on Twitter at JMV1070. So you got no Colts practice today. We will assume once again that tomorrow we're right back into discussion on how things are going to be handled moving up to the start of the regular season. To me, it's relatively easy. And I don't know if that automatically gets me tagged with having a pessimistic viewpoint, I guess. But to me, it's easy. To me, you're going to know. Like, I would understand this. I would understand if Eason is up and down, if Eason is mostly down. I would understand if you're not full in belief that he can help carry you to a couple of wins. I am down with that decision to play him if it's the short term for the quarterback that's injured right now. If it's the short term for Carson Wentz, I think I'd be okay with that. The problem is, what do I always talk about? Some games in the NFL, they are always more important than others. Way that it is. These are 2 home games. These are 2 home games in the midst of a brutal 5-game opening month stretch. What is the level of importance that you put on those 2 games? I mean, can you just say, all right, so here's Jacob Eason. We know that he is not ready, but on the other side of this, Wentz should be good to go, and we're just saying this hypothetically by week number 3. Therefore, you don't feel it necessary to go out and bring somebody else in. I mean, whether you just don't want to, or you want to see Eason, or if there is something where you just don't want to hurt the feelings, which is ridiculous, but it's been brought up on this show before, so I thought I'd bring it back up. So you want to make sure that everything is clear and focused for your quarterback when he does return from this foot injury/surgery. I mean, is it good enough to think about Seattle, especially defensively, as they were a year ago, vulnerable to the run, being able to lean on your running game? Yeah, not so much on your quarterback. Do you have confidence in this team once Wentz is clear and is back and is ready to go to be able to pick up the pieces of what may be an 0-2 start? Are you confident in that? And we have seen this before, right? And this team struggles in week number 1. Always. You just don't want to get yourself buried here. So I completely will get it. And maybe that is going to be the answer more so than anything else. The answer is going to be, how quickly is Carson Wentz going to be ready? When do you think they start to get a definitive timeline to them as to the date of his return? And that may ultimately be more important because if we're thinking positively here in the short term, then why in the world do you go out and you get somebody who may, I mean, you think about it, anybody you go out and get as a veteran presence may come in here and stink as much as Eason might, and let's just say, again, hypothetically, those first 2 weeks of the season. Just might happen. So to me, that's what you're going to look at. It is going to be the timetable for the return of Wentz. How long is that going to take? If it takes longer than 3 weeks and you don't have a lot of confidence in Jacob Eason coming out of camp, don't you owe it not just to yourself as the decision maker, not to the fans, but don't you owe that to the team to go out and try to put them at every position in the best situation to win a game? So the length of time, is it 3 weeks? Is that your cutoff, 3 weeks? Are you okay with 2? I mean, make no mistake about it. Both these guys, both he and Nelson, are going to be working hard to try to be back as quickly as possible. But that's one of the things about this injury and surgery that has been described is that you don't know. That's why you have such an incredibly wide-ass window here. What is going to be more of the determining factor? How Eason plays moving forward in the preseason, or just how quickly Carson Wentz is going to be good to go? And what is your timetable? You give it a week, you give it 2 weeks, you give it 3 weeks. More than that, less than that? Should you make a change? Think about it in the preseason. I mean, let's just say, for example, once you go back and forth with Carolina and then play Carolina, I mean, can it be any level of clear to you? Because what people say about practice so far, especially with the quarterback position in mind, I mean, they have been missing a lot. I mean, you are working with a lot of dudes that you would not normally be working with, or at least not on the first team working with. So is it fair to make that judgment right now? Is it going to be fair to make that judgment in a week and a half, 2 weeks? It's what we got to find out. But again, it's going to be, to me, the recovery time more so than anything else. To me, I think they might be willing. Yeah, unless something drastically happened and he just does not look like he's anywhere near ready. I mean, you got the rest of the team to take care of here. All right, let's discuss that at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. We'll get to you guys coming up in just a minute as well. Talked some Pacers yesterday. We'll do that again coming up a little bit later on. The Goga stuff is still weird. Nothing new on that front. At first, it started with a sore back, and now it is no participating in practice leading up to the Summer League. Now it's because of personal reasons. So we'll see what more might be behind that situation. Maybe find out later on today, maybe not. Found this out a little bit earlier today. If you were a member of Generation X, member of Generation X, and especially if you were a Reds fan. And obviously I speak to that because that's how I grew up. I don't know, for example, if Cubs fans that were fans of the Cubs in the late 70s, early 80s, really had that type of recognition for another team's player, in this case, a pitcher, because you just didn't see them being back in the day in the NL East as often. But I'm going to tell you this. If there was one serious, badass pitching comet that shot through the baseball universe in the late 70s, specifically in 1980 as well, or up until 1980, when he had a stroke, it was James Rodney Richard. This guy was a badass. I believe it was Johnny Bench, and I want to say it was Dale Murphy, who was a consistent all-star power hitter back in the day in the outfield of the Atlanta Braves, that said at that time, which would have been in the late 70s, that J.R. Richard was the most difficult pitcher to deal with. I mean, he was phenomenal in the late 70s. Suffered a stroke, I believe, in 1980. Tried to make a comeback in 1981. It didn't work. J.R. Richard died today at the age of 71. And he was something. Reds fans probably remember that more so than anybody else because the Astros back then were also a part of the National League West. And because we had Reds games here on Channel 4 back in the day, we saw them all the time. But he was a bad dude, man. Highlights, things like that, really don't even give it justice. 6'8", 100-mile-an-hour fastball. J.R. Richard passed away at the age of 71 today. And also wore some of the most outstanding uniforms in the history of uniforms anywhere. Easily. James Rodney Richard. All right, quick break and we'll return. I got you on the other side, so let's go ahead and dial that thing up at 239-1070. The email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. Jake Query is going to join us coming up at the top of the hour. In fact, IndyCar is down in Nashville. That seems like an awesome event coming up on Sunday. Pretty fun weekend in Nashville for IndyCar. I'm assuming that a lot of you out there may be going. We'll talk to Jake about that and a lot more coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. And Mike Chappell is going to join us. We'll talk Colts and more. And he's going to drop by here normally as he does in the 5 o'clock hour. I have stuff to give away. Big and Rich in concert at the TCU Amphitheater over at White River State Park. If you guys haven't seen that, it is redone. It is outstanding. I loved it before. It's even better right now. Got a couple of opportunities for you to win tickets coming up a little bit later on today as well. And on the road tomorrow, I'll explain that, keep you updated, and make sure you guys get your rear ends out there and have some drinks with me. 239-1070. We'll start the day with your phone calls next.
Nestled on 175 wooded acres near the picturesque town of Zionsville, Golf Club of Indiana boasts 15 water holes, 72 bunkers, and championship tees of more than 7,000 yards. Upon visiting the facility, Jack Nicklaus stated, Golf Club of Indiana is as nice a facility as I've seen to come out and play daily fee golf. Golf Club of Indiana, just 20 minutes from Indianapolis International Airport and from beautiful downtown Indianapolis. Call us at 769-6388 to reserve your tee time today.
Hey, it's Big Joe, and as the summer heats up, so does the sports betting action at BetMGM. Sign up now using my bonus code Big Joe, and your first wager is totally risk-free up to $600. Place your bets on all the exciting showdowns in Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, and more. And when you register with BetMGM, you'll also get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. From breathtaking goals to colossal home runs, the king of sportsbooks takes every play to a whole new level of excitement. Simply download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com and enter my bonus code Big Joe to get back up to $600 on your very first wager. With BetMGM, you're just a few taps away from turning game time into showtime. This is a new customer offer. Paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. Indiana only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, this is Ryan Newman, NASCAR Cup Series driver and champion for a great cause, driven to save lives and organ donation. Look, what I do is dangerous, and nobody's invincible, but we can all do something incredible to save the lives of others. That's why I want you to take a moment and register yourself as an organ donor, like me, at driventosavelives.org. You might just become somebody's real hero.
Ah, summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, Indiana, if you like drag racing, we have the event for you. Join other race fans and families at Shift Sector's Airstrip Attack in Marion, Indiana, August 14th and 15th. These race cars run on higher ethanol blends like E85, a high-octane fuel that helps boost horsepower and enhance engine performance. It's also great for our environment and your wallet. If your vehicle has a yellow gas cap, fill up with E85 today. To find a pump near you, download the free Gas Buddy app. This message brought to you by Indiana corn farmers in their checkoff.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
Honey, we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it? We're gonna make it!
I just said
we're gonna make it!
Fill your tank with Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate and keep on moving. Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate at BP and Amoco stations.
When you sign up for BP Me Rewards, you can get 5 cents off every gallon of gas every time at BP or Amoco stations. That means more savings and more whatever you'd like to use your savings on. So treat yourself. It's on us. Visit bp.com/save to learn more.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Now's the time to book your team's fantasy football draft party at Twin Peaks. Visit Twin Peaks today to take advantage of sweet draft party prizes for the whole league, or go to twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more info. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
SportsCenter updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Big O Tires knows tires and auto repair can be an unexpected expense. That's why we offer Pay Nothing Today financing. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
You got questions, we've got answers.
Colts quarterback Carson Wentz, surgery on his injured foot.
How long he's going to be out.
5 to 12-week timeline.
It's exactly why you want to have a quality backup. Let me address this.
I don't know what it is. Is there a curse?
The Colts are guilty of not having enough quarterbacks.
Right.
We told you this roster was flawed.
If you're talking about it,
It is about one guy.
we're talking about it.
Does that mean it's over? Hell no.
Your home for Indy Sports. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something?
I'm going to stare all day.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, query top of the hour. Chappell's going to be in here too at JMV 1070 on Twitter. JMV, why would Eason be on a very short leash? No preseason last year, no real time with first team. Holding him this accountable this quick is like we didn't learn from the way that we treated Jacoby Brissett. So let's just say, for example, I'll ask you, Chris, this. Does Eason get this starting job in week 1 regardless of what he does in the preseason? Good or bad? Because I think you have to be held accountable to your level of play. And my whole thought about this is that they may not deeply look into adding anybody of the veteran presence dependent upon just how quickly they find out Wentz is expected back. But I guess, Chris, that's what I would ask you, and you can send this back at JMV 1070 on Twitter. So if he struggles throughout preseason, you say start him, you would start him regardless. Once the regular season is underway, if Wentz is not ready, you would start him regardless. I mean, knowing what you know. So I think that's the reason why we bring that up is, I mean, you got to cover yourself a little bit, don't you? Don't you owe it to everybody else there to make sure you're covered regardless? I mean, first 2 weeks of the season are pretty big home dates. You can answer that. That sounds like a Connecticut water question of the day. This is from Josh. Hey, JMV, my only option in Scott County is the app, and it hasn't worked all day. Have you emailed anybody about it? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we may need that app. So it would be nice. So let me know how that thing is working, because the one thing we have around here, we have a diligent group of engineers that will be all over it if there is an issue. Now, the one thing they won't know is if the issue is on your end. So keep me updated. Now, keep me updated more than you ever have, because I've got to know. Hey, JMV, I'm not too concerned about weeks 1 and 2. They're home games, so advantage Colts. They're NFC games, which don't matter a lot, and there's no guarantee the Titans beat either of those teams. They play both on the road in Seattle and L.A. That's another way you can look at it. That's not the way that I look at it, but I'm not suggesting that you're wrong. All right, let's do some calls at 239-1070. Rob is up first today on line 1. Hello, Rob.
Yeah, hey, John. It seems like when Jim Irsay released Peyton Manning from the Colts, it almost feels like he released him from the city of Indianapolis. Is it just me, or does Peyton almost have like a loathsomeness when he's around? It seems like he's begrudgingly here whenever he's here. I'm seeing him at Broncos practices, Nuggets games. it's like he's tried to keep us at arm's length, and I don't know how I feel about it.
No, I here's how I would feel about it. If I had done so much for that team, that organization, this city, this state, and I got, shall we say, unceremoniously dumped as he did, I probably would listen. I'm a grudge carrier. I'd carry that thing around forever. So I can imagine there's probably something working there. I can. As much as, Jim still embraces him and, they want him a part of everything and how much they talk about him and obviously love him, there's still going to always be the fact that they cut him. And if you're a competitor at that elite level, that's nothing you're ever going to forget.
It's hard to believe that we had a guy like that in Indianapolis who was, once in a generation type of guy. And then we release him, and he's like not involved hardly at all anymore. It's mind-boggling that anybody thought that was going to be a good idea. And I know the situation with Luck coming in, but dang, and it like hurts. He's wearing the orange tie, like you said, and doing all this, and I'm like, man, screw this guy. What's he doing?
Listen, I don't know him well enough to say definitively one thing or the other, but just knowing at that elite level in which he's a competitor, I'm assuming that there's still probably the occasional ill feeling about the team that cut you and sent you on your way. So,
well, that makes sense, and it feels that way, and it's almost like he's keeping all of us at arm's length, even the people that supported him. And it's hard to swallow. And I don't use the word hate, but sometimes when he's back here, he's kind of got that wincing smile on his face. It makes me wonder,
So you think when he's back here, it feels as if he has to be back here or he's forced to be back here.
Yeah. Exactly. And it looks like it, too. It's like, well, I'll be here. I'll put the blue coat on and I'll smile at Jim, but then I'll go back to Denver and forget about those people that supported me.
Hey, listen, Rob, thank you for the call. I'm not going to dismiss that opinion whatsoever. I'm sure that there's a large amount of truth to it. I just think about it this way. Like, I'm a huge wuss, and I carry grudges like it's my job. I've tried to be better. But as Kyle can attest to, it's baby steps at best. So, you imagine on that level? So there probably is something there. And there probably always will be something there. I'd agree. Hey, JMV, I say the Colts go with Eason unless he absolutely shows he cannot handle the job or shows zero progress day to day. The way I look at it, the Colts and Frank Reich have 6 weeks to get him ready. Matt in Avon. What do you think, Kyle? I mean, do you look at those two teams, both NFC West reps, those games, they're at home. They're home games, which you need to win. What do you think?
I think if you want to win the
division. Am I overvaluing both those games with my interpretation of the situation?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. Tony D writes this, speaking of JMV, I think today or tomorrow is the anniversary of Juan Pablo Montoya eating nachos. You ever heard that story? We were over, this is when Jeff Gordon, before the Brickyard weekend, used to do his Celebrity Bowl event, and we were doing a show over at whatever's over on West Washington, that Western Bowl, I guess it is. I'm not sure. And I'm sitting, we set up in the snack area, and I'm sitting there doing a show, and Juan Pablo literally sits to where you are from me, eats a plate of nachos, and wouldn't come on with me. So I was, speaking of holding grudges, I was pissy about that for years. And then we finally got to it. We were at a Meyer location over in Avon when Juan Pablo Montoya was in IndyCar, and his team came out, and he sat down with me, And I explained to him the situation, and he called me a big baby. He said, you're a big baby. I said, well, all that is true. All you had to do is just lean over in the mic for a second there, Nacho Eater. I mean, come on. There is something to interrupting lunch. There is something to interrupting breakfast. There is certainly something to interrupting dinner. There is nothing at all wrong with interrupting somebody while they're eating nachos. It's a finger food. Who cares? You're eating nachos.
A bad finger food, too. I'm not a nacho fan.
Well, I dig nachos, but all you had to do is lean over. You could burp or do whatever. I mean, I get it. I would never try to interrupt anybody while they're eating a major meal. But nachos? I mean, hell, you might as well be eating a bag of chips. Well, I'm sorry I can't join you now because I'm eating my Doritos. I mean, come on. Yeah, he called me a big baby. It was pretty funny, actually. I think it was, forget who else was with him on that day. But they all started making fun of him a little bit. It was good. It was a good time. It made for really good radio, but he called me a big baby. And he was absolutely right. Could not be more accurate. Just lean over here, right? Lean over here and just say, hey, how you doing? The infamous nachos and Juan Pablo Montoya. I didn't think I was ever going to get back to that, but that's an outstanding story. I don't know. I agree. Griff Pope says, not a nacho fan. I've never heard anybody that's not a nacho fan.
All the toppings are on the top, so once you get past those chips on the top, then you just are stuck with chips with nothing on them on the bottom. See, and then the cheese gets too cold. It's not melty anymore.
I think that it is one of the few foods out there because noted there's nothing ever good that's come out of wet bread, right? If you got wet and soggy bread, that's not good. But I think nachos, I think it's okay to have kind of soggy,
like the soggy chips?
Soggy, formless nachos at the bottom. There's something about that I like. Like wet bread, I'll give you a great example. On my way home from Anderson last night, man, I was kind of hungry, right? So I went and ordered 2 White Castles. I did on my way out of town. And the bread was a little bit soggy, but that was all right. It was a White Castle. Normally, I wouldn't dig that. That's a kind of, okay, it's a White Castle. It's like what you say with it's nachos.
Well, White Castle
I think it makes
is like
it pretty
a fast
good at
food
the end.
burger. I mean, nachos sometimes can, if you get them at a restaurant, they can run you $15.
I'm telling you what, there's no doubt. So you wouldn't get that if that was on the appetizer list?
I personally wouldn't choose it. I mean, I'm going to eat it. If the table wants it, I'll eat it.
I would do that
but
before
I'm not
I would
going
do
to
a
choose
quesadilla.
nachos. I'd rather have a quesadilla.
The bloomin' onion? That's gross. Who'd want to eat that? Anyway, the app is not working for me this afternoon. You guys are all over me for that. And frankly, you should be. Because I should answer, they should answer. I mean, we value your time and your effort to tune in, so I will try to help get this rectified as soon as I can. We do owe you that. Always. Like somebody said the other day, do you get sick and tired of people, talking about the signal situation? I said, no. I mean, no. I expect them to listen every day, and then it's kind of a struggle for them to listen, or maybe they don't know how now to be able to listen. No, it's up to me to show them the way. I mean, that's how much I value you and your presence. That's the way it should be. Hey, quick break and we'll return. Query top of the hour. I'm back to your phones next.
How well do you know the Indiana State Fair? Test your knowledge today at 1075thefan.com for your chance to win 4 tickets to this year's fair.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare? Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, credits to buy over-the-counter products, routine vision care, and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-855-556-7598. That's 1-855-556-7598. Benefits and features vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Hey, JMV for Big Red Liquors and yet another big summertime giveaway for the month of August. Have you guys heard about these? They're called Solo Stoves, or singular, a Solo Stove. Well, Big Red Liquors will give away 6 Solo Stoves for you, and if you win these, you're going to be the envy of the campground, the patio, your backyard. These are the world's finest smokeless fire pits. I don't know if you've seen them, but if you haven't, they are absolutely outstanding. And you could win one of 6 given away in the month of August. No purchase necessary, but you got to be 21. You can sign up to win at any of the convenient 59 Big Red Liquors locations. So Thursday night, you got to heat up that Thursday night with something from Big Red Liquors, the one nearest you. Make sure you sign up for one of 6 Solo Stoves in the month of August. For more info, it's online, bigredliquors.com today.
This year, a new tradition will be born at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR and IndyCar take on the road course over Brickyard weekend. Tensions will run high and paint will fly as drivers like Elio, Logano, Jimmy, Bubba, Newgarden, Elliott, and more battle it out to be crowned rulers of the road. Don't miss the Midsummer Mayhem at the racing capital of the world. It's where history will be made and where racing never stops. August 13th through the 15th. Tickets at ims.com.
Message to Amy Spin Class. Happy 3rd, 29th birthday, Amy! Exclamation point. Ha ha. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji.
You're good at voice to text.
Pizza emoji.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person. And stop knocking on wood.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. Summer is almost over, and that means school's in. Brian, please raise your hand.
School's in, and I've never been more excited. This year, even my kids are excited.
It is exciting. People to pick up, people to drop off, places to go, and Bill Estes Ford will help you get there by taking $3,000 off almost all of our 2021 vehicles.
Escapes, EcoSports, Explorers, F-150s, all top of the class.
And if it's not on the lot, it's on the way. Order yours today to lock in $3,000 off. Oh, plus get extra credit with $2,000 more for your trade.
I like that math. I love school.
Very good, Brian, but still not raising your hand. We have over 200 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for recess. All just reduced up to $2,000 below Kelley Blue Book prices.
$3,000 off new, $2,000 off nearly new, and $2,000 more for your trade. It pays to be teacher's pet.
Brian, that's it. Detention.
Yay, more time at school.
Learn to save at Bill Estes Ford. Take $3,000 off our 2021 vehicles, $2,000 off pre-owned, and $2,000 more for your trade. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Hey, it's John for FanDuel Sportsbook. They're going to hook New Year's up with an epic Summer Games bonus. So just place your first bet on any Summer Games sport risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in side credit if your first bet doesn't win. So, I mean, really pick anything. If you want to do some hoopage on this too, a little gold medal game hoopage, do it. But use the promo code JMV. It's America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel Sportsbook. Make sure they know who sent you. Use that promo code JMV when you download it right now. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You need a work schedule that fits your life, and Amazon has shifts that help make the best use of your time. Whether you're a night owl, early bird, weekend warrior, or somewhere in between, discover the benefits of thinking outside the 9 to 5. You decide whether to seize the day or the night so you can get back to what matters most. Go to amazon.com/shifts to learn more. That's amazon.com/SHIFTS. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
When times are tough, people need more than dependable health insurance. They need dependable help so they can live a better life. That's why the CareSource Life Services Program provides our members personalized coaching to help get them steady jobs, safe housing, and reliable rides. Our members receive stable, healthy Indiana plan benefits, but also the trusted guidance they need from CareSource to gain more independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing!
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
It's no secret that the housing market is red hot. Get a leg up on the competition and get pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
NMLS number 1326-241.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Query top of the hour. I'm John. Thank you so much for joining us tomorrow. Speedway Main Street. O'Reilly's Irish Pub. Your chance to win Brickyard tickets. I think for the entirety of Brickyard prize package. Coming at you tomorrow. It's a good place over there, too. I've been to the one downtown. I love it. Not been to the one in Speedway. Will break that seal with you tomorrow. So join me. JMV at 1070thefan.com. There's the email address from Leslie. Sam Ellinger, if he looks good, put him in with the starters next week for a few days. They've got nothing to lose. He's just as much a starter time-wise than Jacob Eason from Leslie. Speaking of Ellinger, Jonathan is up next at 239-1070. Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, good afternoon, JMV.
Good afternoon to you.
That was a good segue. That was true what Stephen Holder was saying.
Yeah.
When I was there on Saturday, it was interesting because Sam Ellinger looked a lot like a Peyton. And I know that's going too far for now, but as far as arm strength, it proves it's kind of unnecessary when you're so accurate on everything. And Jacob Eason had all that arm strength, and it was mostly red zone situations, but it was just sailing and sailing. I'm not saying he can't get better, but I'll take one touchdown and no interceptions from Ellinger over like three touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the situation we're in from Eason.
I feel you there, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Hey, call again soon, Jonathan. Thank you. Give me a Big Glenn before the top of the hour. Big Glenn, what do you got for us today?
I'm doing great, man. How about you, JMV?
I am sitting here trying to figure out the world of radio transmitting to you problems, but I'm getting through it, brother. What you got?
Yeah, it's getting through to me as well. But, hey, as far as the Pacers and Colts injuries are concerned, well, I mean, what are we going to need, man? Bionic foot implants, like a $6 million man. You know, this is getting bad, man.
That's what I plan on being. By the time I'm 60, I want to have all new parts.
Yeah,
I mean, everything.
Yeah. As far as our players are concerned that gets us foot injuries, it wouldn't be too far-fetched an idea to have some kind of insurance in place.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. Big Glenn, thank you for the call, too, what they're going to be thinking with that in mind as we get closer. And, again, nobody's going to panic, or at least they're going to say they're not going to panic. But that doesn't mean they're not going to actually look at something. It doesn't mean it won't be justified. So we'll see. Hey, JMV, did fans want Peyton to stick around Indy and join the local Dungeons and Dragons dork club like a quarterback that screwed the organization? More than any player in the history of sports has screwed an organization. Dungeons and Dragons. Get a little trivia in on a Tuesday night down in Fletcher Place. That's pretty good. All right, quick one, Jimmy. Hang on hold. Query top of the hour. We are back with you. Hour 2 straight ahead next.
Kurt Cavan here for Thorpe Real Estate. We've talked sports for years. Now let's talk about buying or selling your home. 317-622-8350.
Ah, summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to take advantage of a cash-out refinance from Golden Oak Lending. Your home is worth more than you think. Golden Oak Lending can help you tap into your growing home equity and pay off debts. Our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. Woo-hoo! And remember, at Golden Oak, we speak mortgage. So if terms like cash-out refinance and no-cost appraisal make your heart race and palms sweat, don't worry. Our local lending experts love translating for our customers. But just like the warm weather, home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit us at goldenoaklending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, JMV here for my friend Eric Wilson and Indiana's best. It's Andy Moore Buick GMC. That's 131st at State Road 37 in Fishers. You are going to see construction, but do not let that persuade you to not go in or go someplace else, because it's really easy to get right through, and then you're going to get to the best deals around. I mean, incredible inventory and the vehicles that you're looking for, and really right now, 0% financing, 72 months for nearly everything on that lot. And the best part about it is, because I've known him forever, Eric Wilson is the best at what he does. And what he does best is put you in the new ride of your choice and give you the best car buying experience you've ever had. That's saying something. So tell Eric that I sent you today. It's Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hey, Indiana, with Unibet Sportsbook's Level Up Parlay Booster, you can get unlimited parlay boosts of up to 50%. Sign up today to get $500 risk-free. Build a parlay no one else in Indiana could have thought of. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook, crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You know what makes every diamond unique and special are its 4 C's: cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. But do you know what makes Diamonds Direct special and unique? It's our own 4 C's. The first C, concept. Diamonds Direct has revolutionized jewelry shopping by eliminating middleman markups and giving you direct access to the world's finest diamonds straight from the diamond cutters. The second C, choice. Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection of precious diamonds is unparalleled, and with over 4,000 designer settings to choose from, you are empowered to make a decision that works for your style and taste. The third C, confidence. With a nationwide price guarantee, free lifetime warranty, our unique 110% diamond upgrade policy, and our no-pressure, no-risk environment, you have total peace of mind. And the fourth C, community. Every year we partner with local charities and nonprofits with significant donations of time, money, and jewelry to make this a better place for everyone. Diamonds Direct, as unique, special, and rare as every diamond in our showcase. Official jeweler of the Indianapolis Colts, Keystone at the Crossing.
Hey, JMV here for the best. It's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing at 317-284-9526. Plumbing issues, no matter the level. If you've got a DEFCON 5er going on, you got a DEFCON 1er going on. It does not matter. It is all good. They're going to take care of everything. And listen, that is, the peace of mind is so incredibly important. I mean, their workmanship, craftsmanship, the knowledge, what they do is already top-notch the way that it is. But to give you that peace of mind knowing if something goes haywire, like it did for me on a Sunday morning with no water back in February, that you're going to have water again by 10 a.m., it's amazing to have that peace of mind, and you get it with Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They are the best. 317-284-9526. Keep that number handy. Online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The NTT IndyCar Series returns to race through the streets of Nashville. Sunday at 5 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
And you can tell Rolling Stone magazine that my last words were, I'm on drugs.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Your love tonight. Ooh, that's a good one right there, Coverdale. I think Whitesnake's going out one final time. Now, I will say this. I think all rock bands say we're going to go out one final time and then go out 12 more. One of the best memories of being at this place was being up there on the marquee with Whitesnake over at the Murat Old National Center. That was great. What a great show that was. I mean, even if you're Coverdale and you're one of the greatest frontmen of all time, I mean, you really are in rock history. You're one of the greatest frontmen of all time. And even if, I mean, you're getting at an age where instead of hitting, the high notes like he does, you kind of put the microphone out there and let the crowd sing a little bit. That's the best part about it, is because in your catalog, the crowd knows every word. Man, that was a great time. By the way, JMV Takeover Saturday night, I'm going to play that for you. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. Hey, JMV, tell your listeners that if they delete the app, then reloaded it, the app miraculously works again. That's what I did around 3 today, and it worked my entire way home. It's from Garrett. So he says delete the app and reload it. Man, I feel you. That's a lot of damn work right there. It's like me trying to find Wish TV Channel 8 someplace. I go, what the? Wait a minute. What are they on again? So I need to go stand on the roof, raise my right leg, and hold aluminum foil in my left hand. There it is. Hey, Jimmy, hold on. I'll get to you in a bit. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He is southbound and down on his way to Nashville, what is going to be an incredible event in IndyCar this weekend down in Nashville. Jake Query of the IMS Radio Network joins us. All right, you right now are on 65 South, correct? Don't tell me where. I'm going to see if I can guess, all right?
Okay. You are correct. I just deleted and reloaded the app.
Did you?
So that I could join. Yeah, so I could join.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That makes one. So you are south of Franklin, Kentucky right now.
I don't know where Franklin, Kentucky is specifically. I know Frankfort, Kentucky. I don't know if that's up 65. But,
yeah. Franklin, Kentucky is basically the last real town exit before you get into Tennessee. And I've said this before when I've gone to Florida that way. If I had to live in one town in the state of Kentucky, I think Franklin might be it, because you're not that far from Nashville, yet you're far enough out. But the problem is when you live in Kentucky, you just know that you're not going to have a lot of teeth or indoor plumbing. So maybe in Franklin it's a little bit different. But I said I would live there if I had to live in Kentucky.
Well, if that were the case, I would not be far away from stopping to visit you. I'd have to do a U-turn, but I am like 10 miles inside of Tennessee.
I got you then.
Be far from. Matter of fact, there's the first sign for Sad Sam's Fireworks.
Nice. That is nice. Hey, how important, Jake, is this Nashville race on the schedule, and certainly for IndyCar in general, just being back?
I think it is for a couple of reasons. Number one, because, you've been off the schedule a little bit, understandably so, because of the Olympics and whatnot. But, you want to get back into the conscious of people, of sports fans. So you want to have a big event, and one that's going to be, I think, kind of a celebration, truth be told. Look, the reality is Big Machine Records has been a huge supporter of motorsports in general, but specifically IndyCar. And being based in Nashville, and Nashville's just kind of an it city, right? I mean, I don't think there's any denying the fact that it's a great party city that people go to and want to spend a weekend. So I've always kind of felt, JMV, honestly, like since the schedule came out, almost like this felt like it was going to be this celebratory weekend of getting together and having the race, but also right there on Broadway and going out and listening to some live music. Now, almost celebrating like the outcome of the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic. And obviously that's changed a little bit. I mean, we don't need to get into that, but I think we all know that the time of being cautious is here upon us again. But, nonetheless, I think there's a lot of optimism about it. The attendance is going to be high. There are concerts surrounding it. I'm actually going to a concert tonight in Franklin, Tennessee, which is like kind of the Deer Creek of Nashville.
It's like the Carmel of Nashville, I think, right?
Correct.
Franklin, Tennessee.
Right, Yep. So we're going to see Michael Young got us hooked up. He got tickets from the band. So we got tickets from the band. I'd never heard of this band until like 3 days ago because I'm old. So I've been listening to them the whole way down to familiarize myself. And the problem is now I'm already sick of them. But we're going to see Greta Van Fleet tonight.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
They were compared to Led Zeppelin, I think, a couple of years ago. I heard that. So, yeah.
I was listening to them, and they are pretty cool, but I will say half the songs sound just like Led Zeppelin, and the other half sound like, was it Wild Stout? Who was the band that Mark Wahlberg was in Rockstar? Was it Wild
Steel?
Stout?
Was that Steel Dragon?
Heads, right?
Steel Dragon.
I think that's
Yeah,
right.
Steel Dragon, because it was Steel Heart. I believe Steel Heart was the real band that they were playing off of. It was Steel Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds, some of their songs sound kind of like the dudes trying to be a cover band of, like, Whitesnake or something. But anyway, it should be cool though. But back to your point, I think it's gonna be a fun weekend. I mean, anytime you go to a new event. I mean, I remember when we went to Baltimore, 10 years ago or so, and I thought Baltimore was a fabulous event. And it was well attended, and it was cool to go around Camden Yards. And so this time we're going to go around Nissan Stadium or whatever it is the Titans play in, and over a bridge. So I think the circuit's cool, and I think the city of Nashville has really responded to it.
Yeah, well, that's good, and that's what you need too. I mean, obviously you're not in Nashville just yet, but I'm assuming it'd be nice if you felt the buzz, I guess, around there, whether it's with Greta Van Fleet or whatever, Fred Van Vliet or whoever you're going to see tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to bring out former shooting guards from Wichita State. They're going to take to the stage. Look, my buddy Crate that worked at Alt 103 with me, and we were both part of the same wave across the street. He's now working at a rock station in Nashville, and I talked to him like a month ago, and he was like, oh, man, it's going to be big because his station, it's not even airing on his station, but they're sponsoring it, and they've got a stage set up, and they're doing live broadcasts down there for the whole weekend. So in Nashville, which, it's Music City, right? So there's always big events taking place from a music standpoint, but I do think that people down here, now I'll know better, to your point, once I get there, but from what Craig tells me and from what I just drove through Nashville about 3 weeks ago, it is race weekend to them. It's on the calendar. Now, what you want then is date equity where you go back approximately the same weekend every year so that then it gets ingrained in people's mind. Hey, it's race weekend. It's race weekend. I mean, you always want date equity so that people within the market know that that's the weekend that IndyCar is coming to their city.
Yeah. This seems like this is just a fun weekend with a fun course as well.
I would agree with that. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like it's, because let's face it, the reality is that the core of IndyCar's fan base is in the central Indiana area. So whenever you can get a race that is within driving distance, I know the later start time hurts a little bit because some people might not want to go down and get back late on Sunday night. But, when you've got Broadway Street right there and all the honky-tonk bars and the outdoor, it's kind of like being in New Orleans or something. So in that regard, it does feel kind of like it's just going to be a party weekend.
That's good, man. You guys are going to a show, and Nashville is a good place to be as well. So Jake Query joins us to the IMS Radio Network on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Let me get you in on all the conversation regarding Carson Wentz and, what the Colts should do. Right now, your thoughts on where they are and knowing what we know about the injury and when they expect Wentz to be back, what would you do at the quarterback position if you had to make a decision right now from here going in to the start of the regular season for the next month? What would you be doing?
See, here's the thing. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think you and I talked about it, or I might have been listening to you and saying that you get to a certain point where if you feel like Wentz is gone for the year, I have a buddy that said the headline should be Cayman Wentz. I thought that was brilliant, by the way, my buddy Michael Ware. But I don't know that he's going to be gone that long, right? So if we go on the short end of it and you feel like he's going to be back in week, let's say 1 through 3, then you roll with, I think, what you have and hope that you can maintain water and bring him back to the point where you can still be competitive. If you get into, like, say, week 4 or 5 before he's even practicing, then at that point, John, let's be real. Is Phillip Rivers going to all of a sudden make you a Super Bowl contender? I don't know. I don't think that's the case. So I think at that point, you just go ahead and say, you know what? We got to restack it next year. We'll get a draft pick because, there is no short-term Band-Aid that's going to vault the Colts into Super Bowl contention without the guy that they had set out to be their quarterback. So, is Eason a guy that can keep them afloat for 1 to 3 games and be a nice Band-Aid? Possibly, but we don't know that. He may also be Tom Brady. He may get in there and suddenly Carson Wentz becomes Drew Bledsoe. We don't know that either. I don't think that's the case, but we don't know. But I think that if you enter into early October and your situation is still hazy, at that point, I don't see any point in turning on a flashlight to brighten the room. You just go ahead and wade through it, get a draft pick, and reset next year. That's my thought.
So Jake Query with us. Somebody called a little bit earlier because Peyton Manning, along with Edgerrin James, going into the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame this weekend. And somebody had mentioned to me, Jake, that he felt that when Manning talks, comes here, does stuff around here, that it's always forced, more so than it is with Denver, wearing orange ties, being in Denver, going to Nuggets games, things like that. Do you think that he holds, and I would guess that he does because I sure as hell would, do you think he holds a grudge about how the way things ended for his playing career here in Indy?
I think grudge might be a little heavy of a word, but I'll say
a slight grudge, maybe.
Yeah, I think, is it still tender? Yes. Because Peyton Manning is a guy from the time that he got here that was always in control. And, you know, he had a notebook that had the names and descriptions of every media person, and he knew what was written and said about him. And not to a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but he was always in control. And his departure from the Colts was the one thing in his career he did not control, and where he didn't have the final say. And do I think that bothers him? I do. I think that he really I think it was important for him to play his whole career in one town. Is it by design that he tries to stick it to the Colts? I don't know about that, but I would agree that from the time that he was playing here, everything he did was orchestrated in terms of the PR of Peyton Manning. He was the most image-conscientious athlete I've ever covered, and I covered basically every game that he played here. And he was always, in his mind at least, he set the tempo when he was in control. And I think that having that one aspect of his career be the only part of his career where he did not dictate what took place, yeah, I do think it still is something that he wishes had gone differently. And I don't think that ever goes away.
Yeah,
now, I will say also, I heard your interview with Edgerrin James, and Edgerrin James is the best, man. I mean, the best line was when he said to you, when you asked him about limiting the speeches to 5 minutes, and he said, that works to my advantage.
And yes, exactly.
I mean, Edgerrin James, man, he might be the most misunderstood athlete during his time in Indianapolis of the Indianapolis sports fans. And people loved him, don't get me wrong, but I think people thought because he didn't speak a lot, didn't do interviews a lot, that he wasn't a really well-spoken guy and a thoughtful guy and a deep thinker. And man, that dude is as sharp and as smart and as intuitive as any athlete that's come through this town.
So Jake Query on his way to Nashville. In fact, he's just about there or just arriving right now via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So James Rodney Richard passed away today at the age of 71. Your age-wise, in my ballpark here, he, to me, had one of the incredible, dominant careers that was cut incredibly short. Anybody else ring a bell to you that would have been as dominant as he was certain moments in his career up until he suffered that stroke in 1980? Because it was for a short time, but, man, in that short window was that guy dominant.
Boy, he was. And I'll tell you, not only that, but he also had, and I'm not even saying this to be flippant, he played in the era where they had the coolest jerseys ever, man. When I think of J.R. Richard as being the poster child of those, the rainbow.
It's the best. It's the best uniform of all time in any sport. That Astros uniform is the best of all time in any sport.
There are. Well, that's a good question. I mean, there are the obvious answers, of the what could have beens, of the Lynn biases, and even like the Darryl Strawberries, even though obviously you saw it in Dodd Gooden. But in terms of a guy that was struck down, really early in his career, you and I are a little too young probably to remember, and I don't know, maybe it was shtick as much as anything, but I think Mark Fidrich jumps out as a guy that early in his career people thought was a sure Hall of Fame Cy Young perennial guy, and then it kind of went south on him. And that's a really good question.
Would you slot J.R. Richard in the category of Bo Jackson type of dominance? And Bo Jackson had a career cut short too.
Yeah, well, Bo Jackson, we saw enough of. I always felt like the 30 for 30 on Bo Jackson, I might have mentioned this to you before, I thought it was a missed opportunity from a creative standpoint, because I thought they should have ended that 30 for 30 with the video of him running into the tunnel in Seattle when he was with the Raiders, because it was that typified his career. As soon as you realized what you had just witnessed, he was gone, and you didn't know when you were going to see him again. And I thought that little piece of video, that they should have made more of the symbolism of that. But Bo Jackson we saw enough to get a pretty conclusive idea. J.R. Richard, you knew that there was dominance there, but you didn't know how long that dominance was going to be there. Joaquin Andujar is a guy that I thought was going to be a long-term, or Pedro Guerrero. And then off-field stuff gets in the way with them, and you wonder what could have happened if their head was on straight the entire time. But Richard's case, it was beyond his control, and then his life spiraled out of control after that. It was a tragic story of J.R. Richard, truth be told. But, it's pretty esoteric to know how good he was, because I think you had to be in that era, because you just don't hear people talk about his dominance since then. But, man, his fastball, that dude was dominant, man.
Yeah, I believe he was on that. You mentioned Joaquin Andujar was on that particular pitching staff, I think, in 79. Joe Niekro, the knuckleballer, was on it, I think. Joe Sambito. Okay. These are all names that I can remember from that particular team, because for one thing, I was a Reds fan, and they were in the NL West, and you got Reds games here on Channel 4, sure. So you got acquainted with the NL West back then.
I'll tell you an athlete, and this is probably retroactively romanticized by me because I was a kid, but I'll tell you a guy that burst onto the scene and seemingly had like a 1-month window and then disappeared, and I think a lot of people thought he had emerged, and that was Michael Graham of Georgetown in the '84 Final Four. Do you remember Michael Graham of Georgetown?
Yeah, because he was one of the first dudes to ever shave their head, and he looked like the baddest dude on the planet then. I mean, he looked like you don't want to mess with that guy.
And he had an absolutely dominant semifinal in '84, and actually in Seattle in the Kingdom. And, I mean, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and, I mean, it was like, oh, man, here comes the athletic, slashing power forward that can – and then – I don't know what happened. Maybe it was once Ewing left, he just disappeared, and I don't know. I mean, he might be one of those cases where people, it's like, where are they now? Like, what happened to them?
And some of those guys –
from my childhood that jumps out.
Yeah, some of those guys, like Lloyd Sweet Pea Daniels was another guy like that. But it was more legend than anything else, because he couldn't stay healthy, if you know what I mean, long enough to really show what the legend was.
I mean, Lloyd Daniels had so much natural talent that Jerry Tarkanian did everything he could, and not only get him at Vegas, but then brought him to San Antonio. Tark fell in love with him with his natural talent. And, yeah, you're right. I mean, unfortunately, a playground legend that life was still a playground to him, and it just never came together for him.
So Jake Query with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. This is the 38th anniversary of the release of the film Risky Business, which basically catapulted Tom Cruise into the career that we know Tom Cruise for right now. Now, a co-star was the incredibly smoking hot Rebecca De Mornay. And I've got to ask you this, because of the era, certainly I look at Phoebe Cates as leading the way for smoke shows that we all loved, and probably loved ourselves a little bit for loving them a number of times back in the 1980s. But why did Rebecca De Mornay not get that level of respect as maybe, for example, Phoebe Cates did? Because she was smoking, too. It was just different.
She was.
Because she played a hooker? Is that why?
I was going to say because it was on a subway train. I don't know. You know, another one, I'll tell you who was smoking hot in that era that now is like, what in the world happened? But I thought in that time, and I mean, this is a major star, but I thought Daryl Hannah was smoking hot at that time. I watched a movie last night that had like a 30-year-old Michelle Pfeiffer in it, and I'd forgotten that, those are big-time stars, obviously, right? I don't know. That's a good question. I think maybe it's because Phoebe Cates, in her pivotal scene, in her introduction to that genre, her pivotal scene was centered around fantasizing about her. And so maybe that's what made her the ultimate fantasy pinup girl, as opposed to the girl that, as long as you had the right means, it was there for you. So Phoebe Cates was like the female Jake Ryan. Like, you know what I mean? It was like this wild card, but would it ever actually come to fruition? Whereas, you had enough money and your parents were gone and you're on a subway train, you're all good.
So
that's very Freudian of me.
Even with running the proverbial house, blank house, so to speak, when his parents were gone to try to raise money, there's no way after that Porsche 928 goes into Lake Michigan that it ever runs right again, correct? I mean, you just have to buy another one. That will never run right again, will it?
You are correct. I would say that and Cameron's dad's Ferrari, also in the Chicago area a few years later, were probably at the same J.D. Byrider very shortly thereafter.
I mean, is there any way? I don't know who has a Porsche dealership around here. Gigani used to be the Porsche dealership in Indianapolis back in the day. They could tell me if that 928 would ever run right again after that. I can't imagine.
I can tell you this. I went to school with, he's older than I, but I went to school with John Gigani, and Gigani Porsche also donated a Volkswagen one year to be raffled off at Blast Off for North Central High School.
Nice.
Thank you very much. But I can also assure you that whether it is because it was dumped in Lake Michigan or went off the plateau of the second story of the showroom like Cameron's dad's car, neither of those cars would have been of the quality to be able to be displayed by the Andy Moore Automotive Group, because I can assure you it's only top brass 5-star recruits.
Yes.
By Andy Moore Automotive Group. You know when you go to Andy Moore that you're not dealing with somebody's, refurbished garbage. I can assure you of that.
Man, I tell you what, though, I know a lot of people certainly now are down on Tom Cruise, but Risky Business, it has stood the test of time. It's as good now as it was when it was released 38 years ago.
Did you like All the Right Moves?
I did, yeah. I did, but there's that one scene where you kind of get a shadow of his manhood there. I could do without that. Kind of the same thing in Basic Instinct with Michael Douglas. I'm thinking, come on now. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No. By the way, if you haven't watched Michael Douglas and Kaminsky Method, you need to do so.
You know what?
Sure.
I have. I don't watch anything new. Isn't that awful? Like I was trying to log on last night to Netflix, and I wanted to watch Cocaine Cowboys, that new release from Billy Corben. I don't know if you've ever seen Cocaine Cowboys, his first documentary series on that, but this is a new one that I want to see as well. I was trying to do that, and I couldn't get it done. I rarely see anything new. I'm bad about that.
Well, I'm aware of that because occasionally you will text me and say, hey, turn on your Fire Stick because Match Game 74 has an awesome episode. It's the debut of Richard Dawson, and Joker's Wild's on later.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. Oftentimes I think to myself, hey, John's made it into the Nixon administration now and is headed towards Gerald Ford with his TV viewing, so that's cool.
I'm just amazed in this world right now in which we live, where we have everything that we want. If you want to watch it, well, if you want to listen to it, sometimes, but if you want to listen to it, it's readily available for you. I am always astounded, Jake, about how much I missed back in the day. I missed everything. You know what I mean? There's so much that I missed because it was not easily and readily available.
And I think a lot when I watch old shows, a lot of times they'll be on and I'll think to myself, now what was I doing when this aired in its original, when it originally aired? Where was I? What was I doing? I think about that stuff all the time.
Me too. All right. Hey, what time you guys hit the airwaves coming up this weekend?
That's a good question. I think 5:30. It's 5:30, but I can't remember if that's Nashville time or Indianapolis time. That's kind of terrible of me, isn't it? I believe it's 5:30 Eastern time on Sunday for the race.
So is it biscuits and gravy or hot chicken when in Nashville? What's the go-to Nashville feature food?
Michael Young is insisting that he and Nick Yeoman get hot chicken tonight, and I know that that's a big deal. I kind of like grits, to be honest with you, but
I do too. I love cheese grits. I love cheese grits. Yeah.
But I'm on a strict diet, so I'm going bland and boring. But
why are you on a diet? Just live, brother. You got to live. LIVIN, living.
You know what? I would. I'm on beta blockers, and I gained 7 pounds since October when I had a heart attack. So I'm neurotic about my weight because I don't want to get too big.
Yeah, and I mean, your health is part of it. So I look at myself and I go, hey, I'm not too fat, I'm not too skinny. I feel just right. I'm not going to miss anything else. I'm just going to go for it.
Listen, Ben Mottman, my cardiologist, who's a great dude, he told me when I saw him the other day, he's like, I'm not putting you on any restrictions, man. Like, you can do what you want. But for me, I guess it gives me an excuse because I'm very, very vain. It really just comes down to that. By the way, breaking news, I just rounded the corner where I can see the downtown Nashville skyline, which includes the Batman building. That's the first thing you see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, you're coming down that hill, and then you'll notice all the exits are basically really short and go up hills and get clogged easily. So
construction everywhere, yeah.
That's a hell of a ride. All right, we'll be listening coming up on Sunday. Enjoy. Is that concert tonight or tomorrow night?
Concert is tonight, as a matter of fact. Concert's tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to go and kind of scout out the track and get the lay of the land, qualifying Saturday and race on Sunday.
Yeah, tell Track Dude I said hello.
Will do.
All right, buddy.
Will do.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you.
I appreciate having me on.
It's Jake Query, the IMS Radio Network. I always enjoy the conversations. Yeah, it was weird. Like, that popped in my mind about Risky Business like 38 years ago today. Rebecca De Mornay never really took off in the world of hot acidness as a lot of other of her female contemporaries did back in the 80s. You guys get it? I mean, even the 90s. Yeah, I know. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. There was no bigger wimp in history than that bearded dude that was the dad and the husband in that. You ever seen Hand That Rocks the Cradle? What the hell was that bearded wimpy dude's name? He was the biggest. I call myself a wuss, and this guy's like 20 times the wuss that I am. His wife was the badass. He one of those bearded dudes back in the day that wore the button down, like red or green shirt with it was like the early 90s look. What a wimp. Yeah, but 38 years ago in that film, I think I just saw it a couple of days ago. It was on as well. It stands the test of time. Now, what hasn't would be the rules, because if you think you would be in jail basically forever if you did any of that. But it's still pretty good. All right, quick break and we'll return. I got time for your calls on the other side. I have stuff to give away coming up on the other side. I got Mike Chappell at the top of the hour. Colts off today, back on the field coming up tomorrow. We shall talk about that and then some. We're back with you next.
Summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, I'm Piper. Here's my deal. I like to strike when the iron's hot. At Bill Estes Chevy, they've got hot deals, so I'm on my way into their cool showroom. Right now, get $7,000 off the new Equinox, $5,000 off the new Traverse, and $3,000 more for your trade. With 55 pre-owned vehicles for less than $20,000, I know I'll find a car that makes me happy. $7,000 off the Equinox, $5,000 off the Traverse, and $3,000 more for your trade. At Bill Estes Chevy, they take my budget and get me more. I-465 and Michigan Road, the friendliest intersection in Indy.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services, free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt says putting his kids in charge of more of the day-to-day operations of the business was the plan all along.
It makes me really proud that I know that I can turn it over to my family and they can take care of things, and I've got all the confidence in the world in them. And that's the legacy I'm proud to leave.
A great family-owned business, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. 317-745-4526. Reinhardt, your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Hey, John here for PAI, WeGrowHairAndy.com. If you would like to have, if you're watching on YouTube Live right now, you can see this head of hair is absolutely out of control. And I mean out of control in a good way. In a good way. If you're looking in the mirror and you're going, hey, I'm losing my hair, I would like to have that hair regrowth. I mean, I can moose this thing. I can do whatever, like moose it up in front so it doesn't fall in my eyes. It's out of control, and I need a haircut, but I love it. And all the thanks go to Darren Andrews at PAI, 888-724-5129. If you think right now that your real hair growth again is just a pipe dream, let me set you straight in reality. Talk to Darren all about it. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
PNC Bank believes that if your smartwatch can help you avoid overdoing it during a workout, then your bank should be able to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Introducing Low Cash Mode, available with Virtual Wallet, the financial watch out that gives you advance warning, multiple options, and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. And now through September 28th, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new Virtual Wallet product. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit. To learn more, visit a branch or pnc.com/checking offer. Virtual Wallet with Low Cash Mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference. Low Cash Mode is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. Virtual Wallet is a registered trademark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hi, my name is John Hassey, and I am owner of Hassey Construction and president of Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Every year, some unethical construction companies illegally pay workers cash under the table. That puts businesses Nuika represents that provide a good living wage, pay payroll taxes, and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state of over $405 million every single year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money. Please visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Hey, John, for bullseyeeventgroup.com. It is the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. I talked to Kyle Kinnett, who puts this all together, and they are ready to rock and fire coming up this year before all Colts home games. We're talking all you can eat. Celebrity chef Aaron May prepares it all for you. All you can drink, which you know I'm going to be right there with my arm around you going, let's drink a little bit more. Let's have another before the Colts game. It's awesome. And then you've got DJ Skids and DJ Helicon. They're going to provide the entertainment. It is the best party anywhere. The Colts pregame party, the VIP pregame party with bullseyeeventgroup.com. It's presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration before every Colts home game. Log on right now. Make sure you get your passes. bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Yeah, that's right. I bet you didn't expect to see me here. Well, here I am. Let me tell you about a little something called respect. You ever heard of it? You know what? I think it's not...
You're good at using your time in the shower to replay conversations and say what you should have said. We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
I think it's time for you to get out. You should just leave.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Kevin Bowens.
Brett freaking Hundley?
This is going to be fluid throughout the month of August. I am not as like veteran QB as your backup. It's not as pressing. I'm of the thinking of if your starter, who you aren't sure about, is getting hurt, you might as well try a backup that is young. Throwing him into the fire would not be the craziest thing in the world, just to see what you got.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Let me tell you this. The older you do get, the more rules are going to try to get you to follow. You just got to keep living, man. LIVIN.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
No truer words have ever been spoken in feature film, in private anywhere. Query Podcast 1075thefan.com. Jeff G writes this. I want to sit around and drink beer with the JMV and Jake Query. I love their conversations. You know, we need to all just do that sometime. When I don't have to be on the air or do anything like that, we all just need to sit around and drink. We'll bring some Larceny bourbon or something and hang around and talk stories like that. I love doing it. Hey, listen, I can vault myself in today if I want to, but it just so happens you get these certain anniversaries that are pointed out. benchmarks in a career for somebody, for something, for someone. Film, song, group, album, team, player, coach. And it's always more fun to sit around with some larceny bourbon, do that bad boy up neat, and talk about it. We do have to do that sometime. I think that's a swell idea. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. JMV, what's Irsay's take on the Wentz injury since he said that the season is on the quarterback's shoulders and feet? Well, he hasn't said anything since. And the only thing he would say, I feel confident in knowing that, the only thing he would say is that he is confident that Wentz is going to return and going to live up the expectations that those expectations that he was sold on by Frank Reich, which also means you better. Those of you that are, and I feel it necessary to tell you because I am absolutely overwhelmed with people trying to listen right now and you can't because of the app. I mean, we've spent so much time telling you go to the app, and then the app's not working or the stream's not working. It is something I think with the provider. I'll give you that quick update. And again, I don't mind. So never think you're making me mad by asking me these questions because we owe it to you. And I mean I and we owe it to you. So just ask. But they say, and listen, our engineers are the best. And I mean the best. But they're on it right now, and they seem to think that it's something with the provider, and I will keep you updated. And I apologize for the hassle that it has been today. Hey, JMV, Castellanos back in right field for the Reds tonight. Now, if only he could pitch out of the bullpen, we'd be all right. Here's my question, because right now we're all saying, right, as Reds fans, it's going to be Lorenzen at the end. It always has to be, but you just know that that's probably going to fall through at some point too. I mean, it's almost like just waiting around for a Colts injury. You just wait around for the Reds to have to go to the bullpen and for significant FUBAR to occur. Just sit around and wait on it. I'll tell you one thing, though, Jared G. As a Reds fan, I don't want to say long-suffering, but that's probably an accurate description. But as a Reds fan, it's just nice to be able to watch and to talk about them this time of year with really, even though it's like you may be out of reach ultimately. I mean, they're playing for something right now, and that's a damn good thing. Jimmy's at 239-1070. Jimmy, thank you for joining the show.
Hey, John, always a pleasure. How are you, my friend?
How was your family? Everybody okay?
Everyone's doing great, thank you. My brother is set to be engaged. Well, he is engaged. He's set to be married next May. The one who played basketball overseas in Germany.
Sure.
And Tommy and I actually went to training camp last week, and my sister's doing well in Chicago. So I appreciate your asking, and hopefully your kids are off to a good start with school. It's hard to believe that they're the ages that they are, as long as I've known you, John.
Hey, how about that? Blake is a sophomore, 15-year-old at Roncalli. Shout out to Roncalli, man. I was in there today. Shouted at a lot of people. You know, it's weird too. Like when I want to talk to like the principal, Mr. Bonich, or anybody else there, like Blake acts embarrassed, and I go, Blake, I'm cool. All right. I don't know why. Why is it so damn hard to explain to your own kid that you're cool? I mean, listen, it's cool. I'm gonna make you cool. Oh no. So he just walks away, right? But no, he went for day 2. Laney went for day number 1 on the pink team down at Center Grove Central. They say middle school. I've never called middle school 6th grade middle school. 6th grade's still elementary to me. But I know that up here it's middle school. So that's where we are.
I know you're super proud of both of them, John. So
no, but they're still quite weaselly. But yes, I am very proud.
Hey, one thing real quick before I get to my Carson Wentz point. I loved both of your interviews this week. First, the one with Adrian James. as you know, I used to live in South Florida, and I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan, and Adrian just seems to be as real as you could get. And it was a great interview. Congrats to you and Kyle.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
pulling that off. And then also you and Jake had a great interview just now. I wanted to let you know my mom actually has one of those Houston Astros shirts.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is the greatest uniform of all time in any sport. There's that Astros jersey from that era.
Yeah, she showed it to me the other day, and she heard you talking about it, and she did her residency in the Houston, Texas area back in the day. But I wanted to let you know that. And as far as Carson Wentz goes, John, I think I like the idea of just pulling up Jacob Eason for now. And I was listening to the guys late night, Freddie and Fitzsimmons on your station, and Ian Fitzsimmons was very complimentary of Jacob from his college days, and I know one of your earlier callers mentioned his rocket arm, and I think he can improve on his accuracy, John, and I'm really looking forward to the season, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow also, my friend.
I can't wait to see you. Jimmy, thank you very much. Yes. O'Reilly's Irish Pub tomorrow and Speedway. Brickyard prize package to give away. Join us. Jimmy's awesome. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. JMV, I heard you mention the 79 Astros with the passing of James Rodney Richard earlier today at the age of 71. Who was arguably your favorite player? Well, I don't know how great he was. He's certainly memorable because he had a great name. I loved Rafael Landeskog. If you're going to ask me for real, Enos Cabell would be at the top of the list, but Rafael Landeskog is the guy going for the win for me there. I want to say he played second base. I think Craig Reynolds played short. Landeskog played second. Cedeno, I think, played first. Terry Poole was in the outfield. I think on that team, one flap down, Jeffrey Leonard. Certainly more noted for the work he did offensively for the Giants in the late 80s. Was also a part of that team in the outfield. But, yeah, Rafael Landeskog, everybody. Dave's up next at 239-1070. Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
Great. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hey, I was listening to your conversation earlier talking about could have been players who could have possibly dominated.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about Steven Strasburg and the hype behind him his rookie year, and then he blew his arm out and had to have that Tommy John.
Yeah.
He was still able to work himself back to an ace of the championship team, but the dominance he showed in just a couple games and what could have been, we could have spent the last 10 years talking about no other pitcher other than him if it wasn't for that injury.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dave, because I was thinking, I wasn't so much thinking about him, but I think that's right. But would Mark Pryor qualify? Would he be in that category for the Cubs?
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I bet he.
Yeah. And what about Rick Ankiel for the Cardinals? Before he got the yips, would he qualify? I think Pryor would qualify before Ankiel would, but those are a couple I was thinking about.
I think he would too, but I still think Strasburg has both of them beat.
Probably right. Yeah, and it had incredible hype.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was what, drafted right out of high school and was immediately their ace, and then that elbow just gone.
No, I agree with you. That's a good play, Dave. Thank you for the call right there. If you're wondering, if you're catching this a little bit late, so J.R. Richard, James Rodney Richard, former Astros 6'8" right-hander, just had an incredibly short yet dominantly short career. Late 70s, he had a stroke in 1980, tried to come back in 1981, but just couldn't do it. But he passed away at the age of 71 today, and I was trying to think of former players in Major League Baseball that would qualify in the incredibly dominant short window category. I don't even know if it's fair to utilize Bo Jackson in that capacity, but maybe so. But I'm talking about a very small window of dominance that was ultimately taken away by injury. Some with passing. See, I thought about this name too, and a lot of you older people that are listening to the show, because I think he was from the region, Lyman Bostock for the Angels before he passed away was incredibly dominant. I just don't know if that's a short enough window. I'd have to look that up. And Thurman Munson did occur to me too. Thurman Munson, the Yankees catcher, passed away in a plane crash. 1979, I think it was, somewhere in that. Anyway, maybe it was later than 79, but I thought he might have had a larger window too. I mean, it's just maybe you're looking for something a smaller type of window because that's ultimately what J.R. Richard had. But man, for that short time, he was incredibly dominant. All right, quick one. Break, Chappell, top of the hour. Back with you next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Over 1/3 of adults released from Indiana prisons return within 3 years, but CareSource wants to break that cycle. That's why we provide vital assistance for our members to find jobs, housing, and education after they serve their time, while alleviating a major burden on taxpayers, too. A healthy Indiana depends on so much more than just health care. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Your friends are hosting an online viewing party to watch a soccer match. But if your slow upload speeds were to make you sound like an evil robot...
Pass the ball! Pass the ball!
Whoa, who is that? I'm sorry. You're not an evil robot. You just need better internet. AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Visit att.com/25 times faster.
Limited availability in select areas based on Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed versus major cable providers 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Restrictions apply.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway, summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 89 cents. Excludes maximum.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Last year, our average client saved almost $350 a month with an easy rate reduction refinance. What would you do with an extra $300 to $400 a month? When mortgage interest rates are in the twos, you have options. Let's see how much money we can save you. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, John here, always with the great advice for you. And I want you to write down this number. Keep this thing handy, 317-284-9526. That is the number for Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. And you might be asking yourself right now, JMV, why are you telling me about LD Smith Plumbing right now? Why do I need to keep this number handy? It's because if you have a plumbing issue, it is going to take you by surprise. Your plumbing issue is not going to send you a telegram. It's not going to call you. It's not going to RSVP and say, hey, I'm about ready to go haywire in your home. You better call somebody. You always need to have that number handy. 317-284-9526. Any plumbing emergency at any time, let Lance and his local team fix you up right. Plus, anything else. I mean, the easy jobs, the difficult jobs, they have everything for you. They are the best. They are local. It is Lance and LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. Online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Well, I'm watching the grandkids today. My kids have meetings all day from a computer screen in their sweats, and it kind of makes me miss a freshly pressed suit and going into the office. Kind of. I'm old enough to remember when a fax machine was considered fast and new, and now my kids can go live from their phones. I used to wonder if there was anything left we had in common. Well, there is. We share the power to save lives through signing up with Indiana Donor Network to be an organ and tissue donor. There are no age restrictions, no health requirements to sign up. And one donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Now that's powerful. I'd say it's more powerful than 5G and NFTs, whatever that means. So sign up to be an organ donor at your local BMV or online at donatelifeindiana.org. And be sure to talk or text with your family about your decision. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org. That's donatelifeindiana.org.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever.
Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/radio. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
John here for Big Red Liquors and a big August giveaway. 6 solo stoves going to be handed out for folks that sign up at one of the 59 convenient locations of Big Red Liquors in the state of Indiana. Okay, you want to know what a solo stove is, right? It is a state-of-the-art, world's finest smokeless fire pit that would look good anywhere around you and anywhere near a celebration. They're giving away 6 solo stoves in the month of August, and all you got to do is sign up. It's absolutely free, but you do need to be 21. Hey, face it, you got a big weekend coming up. You've got to stock up on your supplies, and Big Red Liquor's the best place to do that. 59 convenient locations in the state of Indiana, and your chance to win 6 or one of 6 solo stoves. For more info online, bigredliquors.com today.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Big O Tires knows tires and auto repair can be an unexpected expense. That's why we offer pay nothing today financing. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Hey, it's Jimmy Cook with the Dan Dockett Show. Brendan King and I close out the week for you tomorrow with Tom Noy talking some Notre Dame football and Kevin Bowen live from Colts camp. Join us tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a I want you to be nice.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
At JMV 1070 on Twitter, Colby from Monroe County says, dumbest Olympic event ever? Fast walking is what's on right now. Is that called fast walking?
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, yeah.
So what's the criteria here? You got to swinging my hips.
I think you
Forrest
got
Gump.
to keep one foot on the ground at all times. So the best way to do it is that they swing those hips.
That looks like that hurts.
It looks like it'd be painful, yeah. I don't know how far they have to go.
Anybody out there fast walk? What does that? What muscle group does that work? Gigi says, hey, JMV, even Hagen is joining my show next week. You're my white whale of indie sports guys. The white whale. Shout out to Seinfeld, the Newman episode. The white whale. Newman's car. Hey, by the way, speaking of programming, I cannot believe that TBS has not put, I know we can watch it anywhere and whatever, but I can't believe they've not put Seinfeld back in that morning slot. I think they have 2 broke girls on there now. There's nothing more brutal than that. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. JMV, it seems like you're playing a little more unusual music today. I just haven't re-entered with Tonic, I think, in forever. Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, sometimes it just occurs to me, sometimes not. So it's always interesting to see what I am going to play, I guess, to you. JMV talking about dominant. Somebody I had high hopes was Danny Almonte. If that dude wouldn't have, his age was the problem. JMV, fast walking works the same muscles as regular walking, just a little faster. Yeah, it looks, having all these dudes do this at once looks incredibly odd. Does that look odd to you right there? I mean, if that's coming at you, would you get out of the way?
It's hard to tell how fast they're actually walking.
It kind of makes you, if you see that straight-on shot as they're coming at you, fast walking right there, it makes you wish you had like an oversized bowling ball and you could just roll it right at them.
Kind of reminds you of they're like a bunch of penguins, walking at you, waddling over.
It does look like, is that called a herd? What is the actual name of a group of fast walkers? A herd? Gaggle. Is it a gaggle of fast walkers? Look, what is that right there?
They're swinging those arms like they're running 25 miles an hour.
Woo! I think just alone, just to sit there and laugh at it's like worth the watch. Look at that thing straight on sometime and wonder if you just didn't have a really large bowling ball, if you could like roll it down there. There's your sport right there. See, how's this guy going to catch up if he's got to do the same as them? All right, quick break and we shall return. We are incredibly uneducated when it comes to the Olympic sport of fast walking. Sorry about that. Chappell's next.
NBA draft.
The Indiana Pacers select Chris Duarte.
I like the pick and really shoot the basketball.
He's a very engaging, appreciative dude.
Okay, but can he play?
Oh, I think he's a really good player. Tough kid, competitor.
Duarte is a good defensive player.
He can guard the small forward.
If you're talking about it,
he can guard shooting guard.
We're talking about it.
He can guard point guard.
Your home for Indy Sports, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The first bet on Caesar Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
This year, a new tradition will be born at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR and IndyCar take on the road course over Brickyard weekend. Tensions will run high and paint will fly as drivers like Elio, Logano, Jimmy, Bubba, Newgarden, Elliott, and more battle it out to be crowned rulers of the road. Don't miss the Midsummer Mayhem at the racing capital of the world. It's where history will be made and where racing never stops. August 13th through the 15th. Tickets at IMS.com.
Hey, John from BullseyeEventGroup.com. Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration Entertainment. DJ Skids, DJ Helicon, inside, outside, right across from Lucas Oil Stadium at the Bullseye Event Center before every Colts home game. It is back, and it is going to be absolutely spectacular. It is the party of the week anywhere. It just so happens it's before every Colts home game with BullseyeEventGroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat with celebrity chef Aaron May. All you can drink. And the party of the week. Every Colts home game. Before that game, you got to be there. The Bullseye Event Center with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Log on and get your passes today.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock.
with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a mother load of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Meticulous happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Meticulous.
Ah, summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Listen on air, online at 1075thefan.com, and on our free app at Google Play and on the App Store. The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Jake Ray, podcast 1075thefan.com. It just occurred to me, these fast walkers and this Olympic event. First of all, the leader, the fast walking Olympic event leader, actually stopped and took a leak. He stopped and took a leak. He relinquished the lead because he had to take a whiz. I'm assuming it could be something else. I mean, who could tell? Because if it were something else, if it were 2 instead of 1, he'd be walking like that anyway. That's how I walk if I'm not playing a home game. Let's say I'm with everybody down in Nashville. I'm with the track dude and Jake, and they want me to eat Nashville hot chicken. And I'm not playing a home game. That's how I'm getting back to my home game. That's how I'm getting back to my home court advantage. It's like that. That guy actually stopped to take a leak.
Well, if you're watching right there, I think he stopped. He might be injured or something. He just totally gave up.
No, did he? Well, they showed the sign for toilets as he exited.
Yeah, he went into the toilet.
He went into the toilet?
Just now, he stopped and was looking around like he was done.
Oh. You've got some drama going on in the fast walking event right now in the Olympics. That's outstanding. Hey, by the way, those of you that are asking, and I feel it my duty, as it should be our duty, to inform you. I know a lot of you are struggling with the stream right now. And apparently, from what our incredible engineers tell me, that it is a provider issue. All I could ask you to do, because somebody else had told me, and nobody's really given me any options, so I'm just going to make up my own on the fly here. But I was told that you could stop, delete it, and then reload it. Is that what it was told? And try it that way. So my apologies. Actually, our apologies for that. Because that can't happen. But I appreciate you guys listening, trying to listen however you do listen. If it's 93.5, it's 107.5. But the stream right now is on the struggle bus. And I shall keep you updated. But again, you can continue, because I know a lot of you have sent me tweets and emails. Go ahead, and I'll answer them all. And no problem with it. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline from CBS 4 and Fox 59. He is Mike Chappell. First, I want to thank you for hooking us up with Edgerrin James. He was absolutely outstanding.
I listen, and he always comes up with those things, and the things that stick with you. In the way he determines how intense a party's going to be by what you've got to do the next day. That's just classic.
Yeah. He told me that if I went to a party with him, I'd need my permission slip signed, is what he said.
We went with Edrin. You always have to kind of fill him in for the details. We were down, my wife and I and my stepdaughter and granddaughter. We went to Florida. I think we were in Miami. I don't think we went to Key West. I think it was in Miami. I said, Edge, we're going to be in town. Where's a nice place to go and eat? He told me the name of it, and I can't remember what it was. And we went to it, and it was a gentleman's club. I said, Edge, I've got my 8-year-old granddaughter with me. So he gave us an alternate, but you just have to make sure you give him all the details so that he can give you the right response. But that's just him.
So Mike Chappell with us. Before we get to the present-day Colts, I did think about asking you this as far as Edrin is concerned. I mean, he was absolutely overboard and real with his praise for what Indy, the fans here, and what this place meant to him while he was a member of the Colts. And somebody brought this up via call earlier, said, hey, it always kind of seems like now that Manning, when he does stuff here, it's because he has to, not really because that he wants to. I don't know why I'd go that far, but I guess what I'm asking you is, you think there's still some burnt feelings about the way his playing career, he being Peyton Manning, ended here, even though he's well past it, he's going into the Hall of Fame, and I know that he likes Jim Irsay and he likes the organization, but is there still that thought on how things went down in his exit here, you think?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And you asked me a couple of weeks ago about, boy, would you do it different? And I still wouldn't, because with all the information, you can't give a guy with a weak arm and neck surgery is $28 million and a crappy roster. But I do think that there certainly were some difficult feelings early. I think they had to patch things up. I think they have. I really do. But I do know Peyton very well, and I think he holds on to things. If you, I don't want to say the Colts were wrong. I mean, they didn't. I don't mean to go there. I just think that he does hold those things when things happen. So I think it's part of him, maybe. But again, it's business, and that was the only option that they had. It really was, and I know he went took Denver to 2 Super Bowls and won one and 55 touchdowns and all that, but it had to be done. And like we talked, you bring Peyton back for 2012, and I don't think he wins 11 games like Luck did. That they had to gut the roster because of the cap issues. So, but yeah, I think there might be deep down a little bit, but all I know is if there's anything Jim Irsay can do that Peyton needs done, it'll happen immediately. So, and he and Edge will be back here the second game against, the Rams to get their Super Bowl rings. And I think we all have relationships to where somebody does something to you and you're past it and you're buds, but you don't just totally, forget about it. It's always there. But I think this is well past, and I think they've gone a long, long way to patching whatever needs to be patched up. I think they have. Is it going to be more Denver references or more Colts references in his speech? Peyton? Yeah. Well, you only get 8 minutes, because then the old. So it's going to be 4 and 4, is what you're saying there, right down the middle. That's a good question. Because he's going to go. I tell you what you need to do is have a drinking contest for every person he names to congratulate for being there along the way. He's going to name everybody. I mean, you'll be drunk at the 5-minute mark, because I just remember when he was here for the retirement thing here, and he's so conscious about thanking everybody. I'm talking equipment guys, secretaries, everybody, and that's what kind of makes him who he is. So, but what always bothered me, and this is where you get into the possessive thing, is sometimes you'll see things where it's Peyton in a Denver jersey or whatever. And, he was there for 4 years, folks, 4 years. And, everything was really, things were in place. It's sort of like the reverse of Vinatieri, sort of, he really put his chops together with the Patriots in 10 years. I mean, a long time. And Peyton, you don't go in as anything. You go in as Peyton Manning or Edgerrin James. You don't go in as a Colt or a Arizona Cardinal or a Denver Bronco. But when you're someplace 13, 14 years, I guess when you consider the next season, and you're in another place for 4 years, you just sort of feel like, Indy feels like he's theirs. And I understand that. But he will mention. I don't think he'll leave anybody out. I think he's that respectful of knowing he didn't get there by himself. And again, that's what kind of makes him special. Is he really is appreciative of people who helped him get where he is.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So let's go present day. Colts, day off today, back on it tomorrow.
Let's don't. Let's
yeah, well, I want to cover some ground with you because you've been around here since the outset. And, I mean, it does seem like, and I don't know if it's the Manning, release, cut, curse, or what's going on. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm kind of curious about this. As far as the week 1 or the week 2, and I guess the scenario is as follows. Do you think the Colts right now would be dead set on starting Jacob Eason at quarterback if they know or expect Wentz to be back by week 3? Are they okay, regardless of how he looks in the preseason, to start weeks 1 and 2 if they believe or know that Wentz is going to be back in week 3? And is the whole situation of going out and getting somebody else if Eason isn't playing well, is that more up to the amount of time it takes Wentz to get back? What plays more of a role in who we're going to see in those first couple of games?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they've been trying to, I'm not sure I've ever heard of a 5 to 12 week range. That's monster. I mean, there's a little difference there. Is he going to miss one game or 2 months? So I think they're trying to keep out hope, optimism that both he and Quentin Nelson are back by the opener. That's the 5-week window. And from everything that Frank told us, and Frank gave us pretty good detail about, for the first 2 weeks, you just do nothing. You let the foot heal, and then you can start doing things. And he said they really think they'll get an idea of that 4 or 5 week mark where they're at. And at some point in there, he can do some light throwing and maybe go through walkthroughs, and then it gets to be a pain tolerance. What can you tolerate in play? Because they don't think that when you get to that point that you're going to risk further injury or re-injuring it. But when something hurts, it maybe it impacts your technique and your footwork and all that. Boy, what's the most? I just wonder what the anxiety level will be is if Carolina comes in here, what is it, Thursday and Friday for joint workout, and then they play Sunday. And, worst case scenario, what if Eason just looks like a deer in the headlights and it's just too big for him this soon? My gut says that at that point, and then you're not sure whether Wentz plays for a couple weeks. I just don't know how you don't get somebody. Brett Henley is the backup. I understand how they want to show faith in Eason and Wentz may be back at some point in September. But if Eason just looks lost, and Ellinger is really a 6th-round pick, and I don't know how you tell the rest of your roster that you're always doing what's best for the team to win games and put ourselves in the best situation to win, and then you're out there with a quarterback who's either a rookie with no off season because of the off season, or Eason, who worst case scenario just doesn't look like he's got it yet, and maybe he will. This is again worst case. But I think they're really, they're going to wait. They're going to wait to see. We talked. I would have preferred to have a veteran in here in June. I just would. I'd like to have somebody that I know, that at least he's played here. But if you do that, then you're stunning Eason's growth again, which you don't want to do. It is really a difficult situation. and Wentz or Foles or whomever, whatever. They really don't want to go down that road. They really don't. So I think they really want to wait and see what Wentz is, if they get a read on him, and they really want to see what Eason looks like, when the lights go on, because they don't know. They hope they know, but they don't know. And next week, I think they'll have a much better idea one way or the other.
So Mike Chappell with us, this was brought up, and something we had talked about a couple of days ago, too, was, I look at these games to start the season as incredibly important because they're home games. But you can also look at it from the other side, that both of those teams, the Seahawks and the Rams, are from the NFC West, and it's not going to count against you within your other AFC competition. Does that play a role at all as well, you think, just who's on the schedule?
But let's say you go 1-4.
I say the same thing. To me, it's a value. To me, if you lose those first two games, you're host. That's me.
Well, then you got the next three are on the road, and sometimes you never know what a team's going to be, and teams are better, teams are worse. But looking at it, those first 5 games, then you got Houston, then you go to San Francisco. So it's just as I say, you can't win the AFC South or anything in the first month, but you can almost take yourself out of it. You can. And that's why they've got tough decisions to make. And, it's not the same, but there's every chance that Quentin Nelson won't be there. And there's very, very real probability that Eric Fisher won't be there. I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting him back the 1st of September. I think they're talking the 1st of October.
Exactly, yeah.
And Ryan Kelly should be, I assume he's going to be okay. They said 2 weeks, and we're a week into that. But I just – it's really difficult to invest in a veteran because, the veterans that are out there will be out there for a reason. And there may be a bigger pool when teams start cutting players and you can get somebody else. So the thing that everybody looks to with Foles, and I really don't know what the relationship was with he and Wentz in Philly. I don't know. I have no idea. But I just – the only good thing about Foles, is he knows the offense for the most part, and it wouldn't take him that long to be functional. I mean, not have the playbook, front to back, but he could be functional and operate. But then you're talking about a contract. If it's a trade, then he's got guaranteed money, and you're going to get more draft picks. If you wait until, if the Bears cut him, you're talking about late, whenever the cut is, late August or early September. Then he's coming in like Jacoby Brissett with no work. So this is dicey, and it's almost damned if you do and damned if you don't with Chris Ballard and Frank Reich, because again, you want Wentz. I mean, it's funny. Frank went out of his way, and he's not making it up. He believes where he says, Carson Wentz, this is his team. This wasn't signing Phillip Rivers and hoping you get 2 years and you get one. We think this guy's going to be our quarterback for 6 or 8 years, and he still may be. But right now, you're worrying about September, and all of us we stand there and watch practice, and it's not fair from a personal standpoint, but we're being real critical of Eason because he's got to play. He's got to be ready to play, and you just haven't seen the consistency, and there's so many reasons why. His lack of experience. The offensive line's a mess, and the defense is looking pretty doggone good. So it's so much the imperfect storm working against him. Fortunately, they've got another month or so to go to get things straightened out, or to get things straightened out as well as you can. Again, I keep coming back that next weekend, those 3 or 4 days are going to be monster to see how he handles it, how the offensive line handles it, and then how about the idea of, boy, he needs to play a lot in preseason games, but you gotta game plan so you don't get him blown up. You could very easily see. I remember what year it was it 18 or 17, and they were going to open preseason in Buffalo. Offensive line wasn't playing well, and they didn't play luck. They said, we're not going to play him in the opener because Buffalo had a good pass rush. You can't do that because Eason needs to play, but you also have to balance getting him what the work he needs without, putting him out there without having Fisher, without having Kelly, because Kelly's not going to play against Carolina, and Nelson. So it's one thing that the silver lining is you're working on the depth of your offensive line, but the downside is you just can't put your big guys out there, the quarterback and the running backs and all that, and have them exposed in preseason too much. But they need to get Eason to work.
I mean, how much does he play, Eason, in the preseason in these games?
I don't know, a half. I would think he would play certainly into the second quarter. I don't know. In normally what it is, we always get on halves and quarters and all that. It'll probably be plays. They want to, 15 plays, 20 plays. I don't know. But he's got to do it. And everything that he's gone through, it's been ratcheted up the next time. Well, this past offseason, they had 2 weeks of OTAs without going against the defense and sort of half speed type of things. Then training camp, you start with Wentz being the guy and Eason backing up, and now it's Eason, and then Carolina comes in, so it gets cranked up again, and then the game. So it's something he really, really needs, and I wish the situation was better, was more conducive to helping him advance as opposed to, there's a lot of roadblocks in the way to keep him from making the progress he needs to make.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And, you get Jacob Eason, and we'll see if you're a betting man right now. Is the Week 1 starter on the roster right now, if you're a betting man?
I'd only bet 100, and I would say no. And I'll be totally wrong, because that's not – they don't want to go that way. But ask me that question after Carolina comes in here, and we make sure that Eason holds his own. But I just, again, I look at this roster and the people that are on it, and I don't want to tell DeForest Buckner that we're going to go into the first two games with a quarterback that, worst case, doesn't know what he's doing.
And they can see that too.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. You're doing everything to try to win, and then circumstances don't let you put the right quarterback out there, and that's what you need to do. I don't care how good the defense is. I don't care how good the running game is. If the quarterback can't function, then the team doesn't function, and that's all worst-case scenarios, and hopefully Eason continues to make progress and he gets rid of the high. Rick Venturi mentioned he's got the Aroldis Chapman fastball, which he does. He's got a gun. But there are times you need finesse and touch, and we see it occasionally, but he likes to throw the ball hard, and it gets there from, here to there pretty quick. But you just want to see more consistency, and hopefully we'll see that as camp unfolds.
Hey, Mike, I just saw this from Field Yates. The Colts are working out a group of players, including veteran safety Clinton Dix. Now, I know they do this all the time, so there may not be a major reason as to why they're looking at these guys, but any reason why maybe they would be bringing in another safety, in your opinion?
I think if you look at the safety and corner, they're a little thin when you get past the guys when you get past Willis and Blackman. George Odom, you like him, but he's sort of grown to be more of a special teams guy. So it doesn't surprise me. They're always looking. It always catches your attention when it's a name.
Right.
You never ignore it, but it doesn't always mean something's imminent. But what it shows you is they're looking at certain positions for whatever reason, normally depth.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a camp body, for example, like the recognizable guy like that. So
right, it's like Eddie Pinheiro. He's not a camp body. This isn't bringing in guys because Vinny, is 40 years old. He needs to take some time off when he was kicking good. No, this is you bring again. They seldom bring in camp bodies. Really, they bring in people that they think can help them, and either they don't see something from people they want to see it from or whatever. But I tell you, Chris Ballard, if you got $1 for every time he brings somebody in, or every time he makes a move, you'd pile up some pretty good cash in a while.
So what about this kickoff, this showdown between kickers?
I believe they're both 7 for 7 now. I guess I would have thought that's all I think we've seen. Now, what they've done, we're not, if we're not after, I don't know. But it's Blankenship's to lose, and he's not shown any reluctance or any willingness to do that. He's kicking well, but when they bring in a kicker who has kicked, I think Pinheiro was like 23 or 28 or whatever for the Bears 2 years ago. They just don't want complacency. They stress competition at every position. This shows it. We talked to Blankenship the other day, and he said it's business. It's a business decision. You're always looking for that. I didn't get the impression he exactly embraced the competition, but so what is he played 1 year in the league? Get used to it. So, and what's crazy, I think he only missed 6 kicks last year, and 5 of them, I think it was hit iron, and all misses aren't created equal. That the 33-yarder against Buffalo, woo. That when you lose by 3, I realize things happen, and who knows how the game goes, but you miss a 33-yarder in the playoffs and you lose by 3, you just can't say, well, he'll get it right next time or next year. So not really surprised. And, Chris Ballard, he stresses competition, and that's what he's given his kicker.
So Mike Chappell with us from CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, thanks again for Edgerrin James earlier this week. He was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
He's whenever I talk to him, we talk, and I'm looking forward to seeing him Saturday night at his reception. And it's funny. It's because of the length of the enshrinement. His thing doesn't start till 11:30. I mean, so that's sort of Edgerrin time.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna probably have to wake my wife up so I can get her and we can go over to it. But it's always a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing all the former Colts that'll be there because they were there for Marvin and Dungy a couple years ago.
And Tom Brady's going too for Manning, right? Tom Brady's going, yeah.
Yeah, I'll set up a phone call with him. With
yeah,
you guys
you're on the spot to do that now, so get it done.
I know. Well, you're on the spot now. I told you if I come through the edge, you got to come through now. So I'll be looking for something in my bail box other than.
Don't you worry. We'll come up with something extra special for you over there. Something very Beach Grove-ish that you'll love.
Oh gosh! Now give me something caramelish, if you would.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks, Mike.
Talk to you later.
It's Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. Yeah, what can we get Mike? Got any ideas? Got to get him something. Ha Clinton Dix. Hey, by the way, Jim McCann in Southern California is a fantastic listener. And he also is seeing you guys struggle with the stream. And here's what Jim says. Listeners can bring up the 1075 website. It will play over mobile phones, be played through Bluetooth. It has worked all show long, hoping that helps somebody. And then I have others trying that right now where it is working. Our stream has been, well, I'll put it in terms that you'll completely understand as a part of my show, FUBAR. It has been FUBAR, and that shouldn't happen. But again, we have a great set of engineers that are working on it right now. But apparently, if you go to our website and click on the Listen Live link, I'm assuming that is how people are getting it right now. And my apologies. I should say our apologies. But thank you for continuing to try. Tom in Tucson, Arizona writes this. I usually pick up the show station on the TuneIn radio app. They've been unable to connect today, sitting in a streaming error. Is this temporary or does it have to do? No, it better be temporary or I'm going to get really pissed. So it better be temporary. That's the assumption. But, again, if you follow what I just told you, if you go to our website and click on the Listen Live button, hopefully, Tom in Tucson, Arizona, that gets you in. Appreciate you guys' input, and I do. I really appreciate the effort. Thank you. Really do. Race of the day is coming up, day number 2 of that and more. Back with you next.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com. patrick.com.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare? Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, credits to buy over-the-counter products, routine vision care, and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-855-556-7598. That's 1-855-556-7598. Benefits and features vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Every play is a play to bet on. Whether it's who scores next, a three-pointer, or a free throw, it could be the play that matters to you. So bet live at Unibet Sportsbook. Live betting options for every moment of the game. Sign up now to get $500 risk-free. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
We're celebrating the Hoosier spirit at your Indiana State Fair. We've got new tastes, new sounds, new rides, new attractions, and are excited to create new smiles of summer.
Today is $3 Thursday, presented by the Indiana Secretary of State. Gate admission is only $3, plus $3 food options and rides all day long.
Join us July 30th through August 22nd for 18 splendidly spirited days at your great Indiana State Fair.
Hey, John for Connecticut Water, and you. Are you in the market for a new water softener? Are you in the market to have the best water? Or for a limited time, you can upgrade your older model Connecticut water softener and receive $1,000 toward the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series water softener, or $600 off a Connecticut Signature Series water softener. Now, even if you have another brand water softener, no problem. Trade it in, and Connecticut will still give you the same discounts up to $1,000 off. So, let's get a hold of my friends Joe, John, and Dennis at Connecticut, Northeast Side Castleton, South Side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today. Remember to tell them that JMV sent you for this great deal. The information's online, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
Kurt Cavan here from Trackside. Over the years, you trusted me with your sports talk. Now let's talk real estate. I've been in business with Ralph Thorpe and Thorpe Real Estate since my days at the newspaper. And since we're a family-owned company, we can provide better personal service and keep more of your money in your pocket as you buy and sell your home. Give us a call at 317-622-8350. That's 622-8350. At Thorpe Real Estate, we can talk sports while saving you money.
Summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Meticulous, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night, one phone call, for a gazillion disasters. Over 3 decades of restoring your home or business to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Meticulous happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Meticulous.
Honey, we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it? We're gonna make it!
I just said that.
We're gonna make it!
Fill your tank with Amico Ultimate with Invigorate and keep on moving. Amico Ultimate with Invigorate at BP and Amico stations.
When you sign up for BP Me Rewards, you can get 5 cents off every gallon of gas every time at BP or Amico stations. That means more savings and more whatever you'd like to use your savings on. So treat yourself. It's on us. Visit bp.com/save to learn more.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
When construction companies pay their workers cash under the table, Hoosiers lose out. By not paying their fair share, these companies are stealing over $405 million a year from Hoosiers. Do you know what $405 million a year could do for your community? 8,741 state troopers, 7,937 teachers, 325 miles of resurfaced highways, 112 miles of expanded highways, 783 small business loans, 9,722 new jobs. That's a whole lot of losses. Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Hey, JMV here from my friends at Diamonds Direct. I'm telling you, if you need a great gift-giving idea, I've got your helper. I've got your advice, and it's one place and one place only. For a big-time anniversary, a big-time birthday gift, it is Diamonds Direct, and especially for you fellas. If you're thinking about taking that relationship to the next level, you have to do this perfectly. One of the things in life that you have to do, if not perfect, nearly perfect, because if you don't, you're going to hear about it absolutely for eternity. You just will. I'm somebody that hears about it for eternity. Don't be like me. Be smarter than me and go to the best place. It's Diamonds Direct, because the selection is unmatched anywhere in the state of Indiana. The education you're going to get, they're going to tell you about everything you're getting into here. The warranties, the guarantees, and then finally the price tag. Again, unmatched anywhere. Rock bottom, no middleman, straight from the source prices on fine diamonds at one place. It's Diamonds Direct online, diamondsdirect.com. That is Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Oh, while we're in lawn and garden, I was thinking I should pick up one of those little things for watering my plants.
A hose?
No, the things that look like teapots, but for plants. You know, you tip it over and it goes blah, 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 blah.
You're good at describing words you've forgotten.
Like those things that give the plants a shower, you know, that you fill up.
A watering can?
Yes, a watering can. I knew that.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
The Ride with JMV.
And the beat goes on, yeah. And the beat goes on.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
jQuery by Chappell, podcast 1075thefan.com. Thank you for joining us today. Follow the lead of Jim McCann in Southern California right now. Apparently that's working. Go to the website, 1075thefan.com. Click on the live listen, and it should be working right there. Do it. Do it. Or Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live, where everything is popping right now. Good to have you guys along. 239-1070 is the number. Steve is up next today. Steve, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah. I disagree totally with Mike Chappell.
Okay.
Easton, he ain't even having a chance yet. Give the guy a chance. He was fourth or fifth draft pick. He ain't never seen a live NFL defense against him, and he put him down pretty bad. And I don't agree with that.
Listen, and Steve, thank you for the phone call. I think Mike was just trying to lay out all the possibilities. Believe me, it is difficult to have a straightforward opinion about it. Other than you got to get it right, but it's tough to have a straightforward opinion about it because you don't know a lot of things. And, Steve, you're right. I mean, you do want to get a look at Jacob Eason, and we will during this preseason. And I also think that it's dependent upon the length of time that Carson Wentz does miss, i.e., if it's the first couple of weeks or less, then it's going to be Eason, I think, regardless. If it's more than that and Eason doesn't perform well, then I think they're going to go out and get somebody else. There are a lot of layers to it. And we'll see if it's a little bit more absolute as to the level in which Eason plays, and he's going to get that opportunity, Steve. Thank you for the call. Rob is next. Rob, go ahead.
Hey, JMV, how are you?
Great, go ahead.
Okay. I have heard this argument from Chappell and loads of people over these years, and it just makes me want to throw up every time I hear it.
Okay, throw up.
We could have paid Peyton Manning his money. Just like we gave Andrew Luck a bunch of money when he walked out the door. You could have gave Peyton his money. Denver found the money to give to Peyton. Also, we could have traded that pick and gotten rich off of draft picks and built a team for Peyton to play with. And if we went 8-8 or 5-12, I don't care. Peyton would still be my quarterback. And he wouldn't have died. He would have played. And you can say, oh, well, who would have known? John Elway knew. John Elway gave him $1 billion and won a Super Bowl and went to another. So we could have done it. We could have traded that pick, gotten the deal of the century, got all kinds of players, and maybe we weren't great that first year, but we could have loaded up with draft picks and been set for years to come. Could have drafted Russell Wilson in the second, third, fourth round, which I was screaming at the time that I wanted to do, trade all these picks and take Russell Wilson. And all this, you just couldn't do it. Well, sure you could have.
Hey, you never liked my idea of keeping Manning? This was my idea at the time, and I always chastised myself publicly for suggesting this, that you keep Manning and then draft Luck too and have him wait. You don't like that idea? Because I think that idea looks better now. I think it looks better now.
No, because if you keep Manning, you had a depleted team.
You do.
Like
you're right. Yeah.
So you get rich by dealing Luck, keeping Manning, drafting Russell Wilson, who I swear to you looked great coming out, and nobody else did, and it's proven now. Wouldn't you like to have Russell Wilson as your quarterback right now, coming off of 4 years with Peyton Manning after that? It could have been done. And the other thing is, Jim just didn't fire Peyton Manning and get rid of him. He got rid of the whole culture. He fired Polian also. Now, he probably wanted to get rid of Chris Polian.
Yeah, well, Bill wanted Chris to take over, and that wasn't happening. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I understand. But he got rid of the whole culture. He wanted to get rid of the whole shebang. And I love Jim Irsay for coming here to Indianapolis, staying here in Indianapolis, bringing me a Super Bowl. I will always, always, always love Jim Irsay for doing that. But that was the worst decision in the history of decisions, and it trumped Bill Polian's decision. And I say the same thing about Polian. I respect and love Bill Polian for building a Super Bowl team here, and I love everything that he did, except he made the second worst decision in the history of decisions by pulling Peyton off the field and not going for the ultimate record of the undefeated team.
Do you think if Kerry Collins would have worked out just halfway, that stuff would have still happened? You know what I mean? If they would have got, because I remember Bill Polian, the story was that he went to Jim Irsay and said, hey, you give me $4 million, I'll bring in Kerry Collins, and we'll still get to the postseason. You think if it had worked out like that whole era would have been torn apart as it was, beginning with Manning?
I never put much thought into that because it was such a train wreck that it didn't even dawn on me that could have worked.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, I appreciate your call, man. Thanks. I need to hear stuff like that. I still say, even though I made fun of myself, this was my actual take back then. It was draft Luck and keep Manning. You know how they say, what is that old that saying? Either blank or get off the pot. I was blanking and still on the pot. And I used to make fun of myself, and others would make fun of me too. I think there's a shred of logic to that now. I mean, we look at years of hindsight later. I don't think it's as dumb as it was then. Race of the Day is going to come up next. I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be tomorrow, and I'm going to give not only somebody an opportunity with Race of the Day, but I'm going to give away some concert tickets as well before the top of the hour. Final time, back with you next.
How well do you know the Indiana State Fair? Test your knowledge today at 1075thefan.com for your chance to win 4 tickets to this year's fair.
Hey, this is Kevin Bowen, and football season is about to kick off, and that means it is time to list your futures bets over on PropSwap. Did you know that this time last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 60-1 to win the Super Bowl before the season started? Now, that is what I call a futures bet. And that's the thing. You just never know, or maybe you do know. sports bettors cash in early and often when they list long shots on PropSwap. The average PropSwap seller makes $500 a month just listing and selling tickets. And that's what this time of year is all about in the NFL. You've got some really enticing odds for teams all around the league. And the thing that we need to stress is you can sell these tickets at any point in the offseason. So you buy a ticket now, that team gets hot in September, go ahead and post that ticket for sale in October, and while you have odds that no one is going to find after that 3-1 start, you sell that ticket and make some money. So join us. Go to PropSwap.com or download the free app. PropSwap is where America buys and sells sports bets.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway, summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 89 cents. Excludes maximum.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
All right, every Wednesday through Friday here on this show, it's the Race of the Day, brought to you by Harris Hoosier Park in Anderson. To enter, you go to my Twitter account at JMV1070, retweet the tweet that goes out around 5 for your chance to win a VIP pack with $50 for betting and $50 for eating real good at Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. Here's the lineup. Andy Drew has Ruth the Babe, Just Making It Look, Thomas Parker. Mary Ann Cody has Advertise. Ashley has Love Kitten. James with E.R. Kelsey. Bella Cavala goes to Jeremy Bullard. JF has Meadowbrook Nola. Patrick Wright is in with Everlasting Fashion. There's your lineup. Let's get a winner. Here's your Harris Hoosier Park Race of the Day.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
They are up. And on a break right at the start went Love Kitten. Love Kitten went off stride right at the start. Retha Babe has no problems right up for the lead. Advertise is next in second. Just Making You Look is third. Following along is E.R. Kelsey fourth. Then up on the outside, Meadowbrook Nola. Bella Cavalas to the inside, then Everlasting Fashion. And Love Kitten, after that early break, is now the trailer. They're moving on the first turn, and Retha Babe leads through a quarter mile of 30-3. Advertise is sitting in second, and then next third comes Just Making You Look. Racing in fourth is E.R. Kelsey, then Bella Cavala is fifth, about 6 lengths off the lead. Meadowbrook Nola is next, and Everlasting Fashion seventh. The trailer is Love Kitten as they continue on up the back stretch. Retha Babe is in front with Advertise moving second. Just Making You Look, well-positioned third, and now Bella Cavala starts to move up on the outside. Racing next is E.R. Kelsey. The half is on the board at 1:01 4/5. They're going on to the turn. Retha Babe is led all the way, but Bella Cavala is now there to dispute that. Bella Cavala up on the outside of Retha Babe. 2.5 lengths back to Advertise third. Meadowbrook Nola is fourth, and then fifth is Just Making You Look. Next to the outside is Everlasting Fashion. The last two are E.R. Kelsey and Love Kitten as they now move to the top of the stretch. 3/4 time, 1:32. Into the stretch, Retha Babe in front, Bella Cavala pressuring on the outside, and Meadowbrook Nola creeps closer with every stride. Also up on the outside is Everlasting Fashion, who's trying to pull an upset, as Meadowbrook Nola now has taken the lead. Just Making You Look is driving down to the inside to try to mount a challenge, and up on the outside is Everlasting Fashion. It's Meadowbrook Nola with the lead in deep stretch. Just Making You Look still coming on the inside, but runs out of ground. Meadowbrook Nola the winner. Just Making You Look second, then Everlasting Fashion and Bella Cavala in 2 minutes flat.
Just minutes from Indy off I-69 in Anderson, Harris Hoosier Park has standard bred horse racing through December 4th, thanks in part to the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. And keep listening for your chance to win with the Harris Hoosier Park Harness Race of the Day on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Listen on air, online at 1075thefan.com, and on our free app at Google Play and on the App Store. The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding?
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, JF is the winner. Harris Hoosier Park Race of the Day. Wednesday through Friday weekly. Get a VIP pack, $50 in betting. $50 at eating real good at Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. And again, a shout out to everybody yesterday. It was a great time. Rick Moore, Crystal, my man John there. John Griffin came up there. I saw Litzy, Indy Kent, bunch of folks up there. It was a great time. We'll be back again soon. JF's the winner. That is Meadowbrook NOLA. For the win, it was $820. The place is $520. The show was $4. Just making you look. Place $440. The show $3. Everlasting Fashion showed at $460. The $2 exacta payout went at 25 bones. The 50-cent trifecta payout, $41.25 all together right there. There you go. Harris Hoosier Park Race of the Day. We'll do it again tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll check you out live from Speedway. Come out and join us. We're going to be at O'Reilly's Irish Pub with your chance to win a Brickyard prize package. Of course, that's coming up next weekend, but we're going to be at O'Reilly's Irish Pub, Main Street in Speedway tomorrow, and I sure as hell would love to see every last one of you there with us. It'd be great. Great way to get us off to a fantastic weekend. That is tomorrow. O'Reilly's Irish Pub. It is in Speedway. It's your chance to win big stuff, too. Speaking of winning, as we get ready to bail here on the show, Big and Rich, I don't have the date in front of me, so bear with me. Just note that if you're caller 9, you're going to get in and win tickets to go see country music artist Big and Rich. I don't know a great deal about them other than they have the song called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
August 19th.
And I think that has something to do with sex.
August 19th at White River is when that concert is.
August 19th at White River. I just watched Urban Cowboy today, so it's a perfect segue. She gave me the finger, I gave her the finger. I guess it's over. That is fantastic. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. And I think that has something to do with sex. Number 9 is going to win it right now. Shout out to Live Nation. I got to get with Kyle because, we got Yacht Rock Review coming up next weekend, too. I get with Kyle and Jimi Hendrix and my friends over there. Shout out to Jimi Hendrix, too. I got a text from him the other day. I got to get with you, brother. I do. Kyle, great job from you today. I want to thank all of you for hanging with us through all the issues we have had regarding the stream. Our stream was more problematic than the dude that had to dash into the toilet in the Olympic fast walking run earlier today. Thank you for all that you do. I could not appreciate anybody more than you guys for hanging with us throughout these obstacles today. Hey, we're going to make it pay tomorrow. O'Reilly's Irish Pub in Speedway. Have some drinks beginning at 3. See you then. Have a great night.
Then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is